Skittering puck in the red line, picked up by Max Olson. He dunks it down on net. It deflects off the stick and front. Backhander by Zarizko. It's kept up by Udlow. Backhand feed out to the right point. One-timer by Hall. Back deflects wide. They score! On a deflection in front. Iowa State's moving on to the national championship game. The Cyclones come storming out of their bench. 2 unanswered goals to end it.
Up again, but almost a miscue there from number 18, Austin Killian survives the charge, and another huge hit! Johnson flattening Townsend!
A team of destiny, the Minot State Beavers have defeated the defending champion Adrian College as well as the number 1 seed in this year's tournament. The Beavers have excelled at killing the penalty, and they know how to score at the right times. An opportune team that knows how to get it done. They head into the final looking to take the trophy against the Iowa State Cyclones.
All right, with Minot State head coach Wade Regier. And number one, coach, congratulations on getting to the championship game. Looking for the first national championship since 2013 for the school. Things that you just kind of want to tell your team going into the national championship game.
You know what? I think more than anything else is just controlling your emotions. You know, I've been here before, and you know the game has swings that go from good to bad in a moment's notice, and so it's a matter of keeping your emotions in check. And I think the other thing too is, you know, playing very disciplined. I know that emotions can get you a little high, and all of a sudden you take an error penalty, and that could cost you. So for our guys, you know, just try to make it it's a national championship game, and try to make it a regular game in October is going to be the challenge.
Yeah, about the also the support that you get from Minot, kind of a huge watch party going on back in Minot, and the support that you get from those guys. What does that mean for your team?
I mean, it's everything. I mean, I think there's probably about a dozen or so bars that'll be packed. They now have the Beaver Dam watch party where there'll be 200 people that'll be watching there alone, and so we do it for them. It's excitement. You know, I think even just yesterday's post had 25,000 impressions on Facebook. So you know what, we know that there's a huge following, but for us, we just got to continue to stay focused. And you know what, and if regardless of how the result happens today, we just have to be proud of the support that we do have.
All right, Wade, thanks. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Boz and Thomas. Talking with this Minot State team, it's the redemption tour. This season, the first time in 4 years they were not the #1 seed entering the Division I tournament. Their resume to this point is phenomenal. They defeated the runners-up last season in Illinois on day one, only to follow it up by defeating the defending champion Adrian College day two. And if there couldn't be anything better than that, the #1 team in the country in Lindenwood last night. So Thomas, how does this redemption tour captivate into a national championship?
Well, let me tell you, the redemption tour goes back even further. It was in 2016. This was, like you said, 3-time #1 seeds in 16, 17, 18. They never even made it to the national championship in that time. So they fall to a 6 seed, and for some reason that gets them going. So they want to finish this redemption tour off because it's just like that. They've worked hard to get to that point.
Well, it's a redemption tour for Minot State. Iowa State looks for their first in 27 years. And for the call to action, we send it to the third member of the Big Ten broadcast team and the rest of the ACHA Division I crew, to Cristiano Simonetta and Quinn Kuski.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Thomas Biondo. From the Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas, the 2019 ACHA Men's Division I National Championship presented by the ACHA Network. The number 5 ranked Iowa State Cyclones take on the number 6 Minot State Beavers. Hi, everybody. I'm Cristiano Simonetta, joined alongside by Quinn Kuski. Boz Echevarri will join us in just a bit from Ice Level. And Quinn, the history with each of these programs is well documented in ACHA lore. Both teams have one title to their name. Iowa State won the first national championship in league history by defeating Michigan Dearborn 27 years ago in 1992. Minot State beat Lindenwood in 2013. And to get to this stage tonight, Quinn, both teams had to go through those same familiar foes in the semifinals.
Yeah, these teams have had paths that are teams that they're very familiar with. In 1992, Iowa State defeated Michigan Dearborn for the first ever ACHA national title. 96, Iowa State was there again, but they lost to Ohio. 97, back-to-back losses to Ohio from Iowa State. In 2010, Iowa State loses to Lindenwood. In 2013, Minot's lone trip to a national title game, they beat Lindenwood. In 2016, Lindenwood beat Iowa State. So Iowa State has now had 5 total appearances. They've won it 1 time. And now in 2019, they're hoping they can break the curse, throw the monkey off their back. It's been a while, but maybe this is finally their time.
Yeah, this is Minot State's second opportunity. They beat Lindenwood, like you mentioned, in 2013, but for Iowa State, it's their 6th time going to the dance. They won the first one in 1992, which means the next 4 appearances, they've been in losses and defeats, and another team raising that Murdoch Cup instead of the Cyclones.
Yeah, and if you're Iowa State, you're sick of seeing it. You're sick of seeing that other team lift the cup. You feel like this might finally be your year. They haven't let up more than 2 goals in a single game. Gadecki's been absolutely dominant. But on the other end, you have another hot goalie in Joshua Bykowski thrown in out of nowhere with what we believe to be a groin injury. Nothing's been confirmed, but Braden Efforts goes down. Joshua Bykowski forced to step in, and he shuts the door against the Lindenwood Lions, one of the best offenses in the ACHA, and they beat them 1-0.
We know both of these teams can bring the offense when called upon, but the defensemen for both sides have come up with some key goals in the national tournament. Kyle Lipinski and Nick Sandy are two guys you want to keep an eye on from the blue line.
Definitely, and what's interesting about it is these are two guys that weren't very high scorers in the regular season, and now they're producing in the playoffs, which is exactly what both these teams needed.
We're just moments away from puck drop, so let's send it down to ice level with public address announcer Andy Storrs.
American Collegiate Hockey Association Men's Division I Championship Tournament, hosted by the Frisco Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Dallas Stars, and the Children's Health Star Center Ice Rinks. This is ACHA public address announcer Andy Storrs. 6 days ago, 20 teams began their quest to achieve a national championship. And tonight, after many hard-fought battles, we're down to the final 2 teams remaining in that quest to win the ultimate prize in men's ACHA Division I hockey, the awarding of the Murdoch Cup to tonight's victor. Our final 2 teams standing for tonight's championship game, game number 19. On the visiting bench, an independent hockey team, the number 6 seed, the Minot State University Beavers. And on the home team bench, from the Central States Collegiate Hockey League, the number 5 seed, Iowa State University Cyclones. Let's begin our festivities this evening by introducing the starting lineups for both teams. First, beginning with the visiting bench, the Minot State Beavers. In goal, a junior from Vermilion, Alberta, number 39, Joshua Bykowski. On defense, a grad student from Lake Lenoir, Saskatchewan, number 51, Eric Bullifer. On defense, a junior from Grand Prairie, Alberta, number 59, Kyle Lipinski. At center, a senior from Medicine Hat, Alberta, number 37, Dylan Gatos. On left wing, a grad student from Wadena, Saskatchewan, number 61, Shane Sheschuk. And at right wing, a junior from Portage La Prairie, Manitoba, number 74, Joel Swedlow. The head coach of the Beavers is Wade Regier. His assistant is Wyatt Waselenchuk. Their athletic trainer is Robin Gust. And now let's meet the starting lineups for the home team bench. The Iowa State Cyclones. In goal, a senior from Ankeny, Iowa, number 35, Matt Gedeke. On defense, a senior from Calgary, Alberta, number 6, Nick Sandy. On defense, a sophomore from Princeton, Minnesota, number 10, Justin Paulson. At center, a sophomore from Red Wing, Minnesota, number 18, Dylan Goggin. At left wing, a freshman from Park Ridge, Illinois, number 22, C.J. Banser. And at right wing, a senior from Skokie, Illinois, number 9, Trevor Sabo. The head coach of the Cyclones is Jason Fairman. His assistant is Scott Ismond. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise and kindly remove all caps. And join me, soloist organist Gary Lichthart, in the singing and playing Spangled Banner. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. and the rocket's red flare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Andy Stores, terrific as always. Hi, everybody, from the Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas. It's the Men's Division I ACHA National Championship presented by the ACHA Network. I'm Cristiano Simonetta, joined alongside by Quinn Koski. Baz Echevarri down at ice level. And before we get that opening puck drop, Quinn, it's going to be a ceremonial puck drop. And Nick Sandy and Craig Fournier, or rather Blake Fournier, his brother Craig, will talk about him in just a couple of minutes here because graduated from the program a year ago. And also you got to talk about the Lipinski three brothers that played in last year. And look at the bit of jousting, some gamesmanship, and Fournier wins the opening faceoff against Sandy.
Yeah, and how appropriate is it that those are the two captains for these teams? Sandy and Fournier both with huge goals for these teams in this tournament. Sandy has the goal that pushes Iowa State to this level. Fournier has the lone goal against Lindenwood in the semifinals. And Fournier and Sandy have both done so much more than just those clutch goals. Sandy, every time he's on the ice, is absolutely shutting down 50% of the defensive zone. Blake Fournier is just everywhere. He's a man on a mission. Had a huge shot block at the tail end of the Lindenwood game, and probably is the sole reason why that game didn't go to overtime.
Jake Townsend of the Lindenwood Lions had a chance to tie the game late in the third period, but you mentioned it. Blake Fournier with an excellent shot block. Iowa State goes from left to right. Minot State right to left. Iowa State wearing those white uniforms, red pants, white, yellow, and red socks. And Minot State, those beautiful reds as well with black and white stripes, black pants on those. We're just moments away from puck drop, and the top lines are coming out as they should, especially on the back end for Wade Regeer's club. It's Kyle Lipinski and Eric Bolifer, a dynamite duo on the back end who have been spectacular throughout the tournament.
Yeah, those are two guys that will probably log at least 30 minutes of ice time in this game.
We're underway. It's the Men's Division I National Championship, and a shot quickly, guided by the left pad of Gedicke as Lipinski takes a saucer feed. It was too far from him. And Trevor Sabo, ranging down the right wing side, drops the pass out in front. Our first chance of the game. It's coming up, and C.J. Banzer had the puck knocked away to the far side. Shane Sheshuk, top of your screen, gains the red line. He was swatted away by Max Olson, and the puck goes into the Cyclones bench. Our first stoppage, so we're going to send it down to ice level with Baz Echevarri.
Pretty cool. It's the first time since the tournament has expanded to a 20-team format that two teams outside of the top 10 are here in this championship game. And it's also the first time that a 5 and a 6 has played each other since we expanded to a 20-team format. Should be a fun one, especially with Iowa State going to double overtime to get to this game.
It was a marathon match for the Cyclones against the Michigan Dearborn Wolverines. Colton Kramer, the hero in that one. More on him in just a bit as Tony Uglum charges down the right corner, and it's dumped back now by the Beavers. Red line, blue line, left wing side for Justin Metcalf. 56 seconds into the first period. No goals just yet, but as we talked about in the pregame show, Quinn, a lot of offense from these two teams as a shot from Sheldon Davis goes wide. And now behind the goal, Max Olson for Aaron Azevedo. And Azevedo, of course, that boarding penalty in yesterday's game in the third period was kicked out, but he is eligible for tonight's contest.
Yeah, the second I saw that board personally, I thought that might have been the end of Iowa State. Your team's second leading scorer, 30 points in the regular season, and he gets sent off when you're down in a huge game against Michigan Dearborn. But the team able to rally and come back and wind up winning that game.
Paul O'Connor got the puck out to center. Tommy Hansen sent it back in for the Cyclones. And there is Fournier racing to a puck against Joey Marcicilli. Now in front of the Cyclones bench, it's Jackson Grollam and number 97, Drew Carter, trying to find that loose puck. It is loose, and now it's on the stick of Adam Wowrick. Right wing side, curl drag. The shot was sticked away by number 6, Nick Sandy. And on the near side, a solid body check there, but The man getting it out to center was Hansen. He still keeps the puck. Right wing side. Fires one into the chest of Bykowski. As Hansen used the defenseman as a screen. Bykowski with a stop.
Yeah, had a chance to talk to assistant head coach Scott Eisman of Iowa State before the game. Going back to that double overtime game, the big thing was making sure that the Iowa State Cyclone players were hydrated. He also said that these Cyclone players are feeling a lot better today than they did yesterday going into the game.
Quick shot from Paulson off the end boards, and Longy rescues it for his netminder. Cody Longy to the middle area where it's Jordan Robertson, pressured by a trifecta of Cyclones. It's Kurt Hallbach along the end boards to the near side. Minot with a quick turnover as it's Rhett Locke. But number 11, Hunter Dolan, and the fourth line out for Jason Fairman's club. Get the puck back. And Dolan again along the red line. Clears the puck in, glove down by Bykowski. He will hold 2 minutes and 39 seconds into the first.
So I'd like to kind of kick it back to Boz's first comment there when he was talking about just these two teams, and there's so many different firsts. This is the first time that we're going to have a team outside of the top four win a title. It's the first time a 5 and a 6 seed have matched up. It's also the first time we've had a team that's played 4 games in 4 days make it here. Or sorry, not make it here. Illinois made it last year, but it's the first time we're going to have one of those teams win.
Illinois lost to the Adrian Bulldogs in a blowout right from the start, 8-1. Minot State has gone through Illinois, and they've gone through Adrian. Now they're hoping to go through the Iowa State Cyclones with the puck on their stick right now. It's Max Olson. Along his own goal line, looking for Trevor Sabo to help him out. Dylan Goggin as well. But it's taken away swiftly by Shane Sheshuk, who dips it below the goal line for Joel Swedlow, who races to the puck with Sandy and Sheshuk for Dylan Gatos. Along the far side half boards, Sheshuk boarded as well. A 4-man tie-up, Olson, Goggin, Sheshuk, and Gatos. And once again, another tightly checked encounter to the far side corner, as we expected this game to be a little bit more opened up to start it. Nonetheless, it's going to be Sandy to the far side corner. And now for Olson, but instead Minot State with a quick turnover, but they give it right back to number 6 in white. To the far side, it's flipped out by number 22, CJ Banser.
So, Cristiano, this is how Iowa State, this is their brand of hockey right here. You can go all the way back to Stony Brook and you'll see it. They keep you along the wall, they force you into board battles, and they don't make it easy to get anything going offensively.
Yeah, especially to your point, Quinn. I mean, the physicality of this game, it hasn't missed a beat from this whole tournament. Especially looking at both teams, they played, to your point, 4 games, 4 days. It's just as physical as they came out in game 1.
Davis Sheldon's line out there for Wade Regeer's club. Instead, it's won by Aaron Azevedo. Azevedo starting at center for the first line with Colton Kramer. And number 7 right here, Tony Uglum, and a shot in a left pad save by Bykowski. Puck skitters behind the cage. Kramer for Uglum, and now Azevedo as he swipes the puck back, but inadvertent. It's Justin Metcalf as Killian rushing to the net, out in front. The shot was sticked away. He never got it on net, thanks to a back-checking Cyclone as the net comes off its moorings, and a check on number 18, Killian by Azevedo. After the whistle, we get a stoppage, 4:13 into the first.
Right there, probably the two of the better opportunities of the game, right back to back. Uglum brings it down the wing for Iowa State, gets a great shot in on Bykowski. He pads that one away, and then a mishandle of the puck in the offensive end leads to a 2-on-1 break and almost a goal from Minot State as well. Gadecki flexing out that right pad makes a big save.
Face off to the right of Matt Gadecki. Fournier on the draw against Azevedo. As Joey Marcicilli and number 97, Drew Carter, had to wait a little bit before they dropped that puck. They finally do, and now it's Reese Foreman firing it back in for the Beavers with 15:38 left in the first period. A nice hit there by Fournier. Puck comes through for Carter, tipped out in front, and that one skitters to the far side corner where it's Adam Alcott who gets the puck out to center. And Longy, the own blue line in Wowrick, deking along that center ice logo. Now over the blue line, but offside was Fournier. 15:22 left in the first period. A huge hit once again. Fournier leading by example, both offensively and defensively, like we saw with that body check.
Yeah, Fournier coming in right down the near wall, almost right in front of us, lays the lumber with a big hit there, and that instantly swings momentum into favor of Minot State. They have all the energy right now.
Foreman again goes dump and chase to the near side. It's number 10, Justin Paulson, having some trouble with it. Puck comes to the left point. Longy with a shot. A quick stick active by number 68, Jordan Robertson. Didn't get the puck to the net, though. It's Rhett Locke. Tried to swap it with Dylan Johnson to the far side corner. It goes now for Jackson Graham. We use the short glass. And it's back out to neutral ice where Foreman has it. And up for Johnson, tipped away by Grolum. He comes in, delayed offside. We don't get a whistle just yet as he hits the blue line again. Cody Longy along the blue line to the neutral zone where it's Locke, who angles it on his side of center. This one will be an icing as number 10 Paulson reaches the hash marks, a whistle, and an offensive zone faceoff coming up for the Cyclones.
Yeah, Grolum's actually shaking up right in front of me. It looks like he took a stick and a little bit of a check right in front of us. He's just really slow to get back to the bench right now.
Jackson Grolum, the junior forward out of Fargo, North Dakota. Of all places, Minot State, of course, in Minot, North Dakota.
Yeah, Grolum had a big game. First game against Stony Brook, matched his season's goal total in just one match. He hasn't scored since then, but every game, I feel like we're saying his name a lot. He's all over the place, even if he's not always on the score sheet.
Joey Marcicilli, a couple early shots for the freshman defenseman out of Wheaton, Illinois. No points throughout the tournament, 6 points in 31 regular season games. He's paired with Nick Sandy. A bit of a tall order to ask of a freshman, or do you think it's been the right role considering as a, I'll get your answer in a little bit after Banzer had a chance on the right circle, but just fumbled over his stick, and now here comes Cheshuk. The shot off the blocker of Gedeke and off the end boards. Shane Cheshuk, a dangerous guy that you don't want walking in uncontested in that high slot.
Yeah, Sheshuk's a sniper without a question. That first line had so many chances yesterday against Lindenwood, just couldn't seem to buy a goal. I was genuinely starting to feel bad for poor Swedlow. Had about 7 or 8 should-have-beens, but didn't quite get one.
And with Marcicilli with the puck right now, I'll try and get an answer out of you. So Marcicilli, first-year defenseman, and they're only playing 5D, which Iowa State has employed throughout the tournament as we get a whistle.
Yeah, Marcicilli, he plays right alongside of Sandy. It's the captain beside the freshman, and sometimes that's that captain can almost play a mentorship role for you. You see it in the NFL where, a team like the Redskins brings in Adrian Peterson to give guidance to those younger running backs. In this case, it's a defenseman where you have Nick Sandy giving guidance to Marcicilli, as Sandy, he's nearing the end of his time at Iowa State, and Marcicilli's has just begun.
Both of them trying to capture a national title. 13 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first period. 0-0 between Minot State and Iowa State. To the right point it goes. Wolfer, the shot was deflected wide.
Yeah, there was a lane that was open on that too.
And here's Justin Metcalf on the far side half boards. And a cross check, I believe, is going to be upcoming as Colton Kramer was dumped, and we're going to have our first penalty of the game, and cross-checking will be that call. 13:25 left in the first.
Yeah, right now we're going to have the first power play of the game, this one coming in favor of Iowa State. But the thing is, neither one of these teams have had a great power play, and they've both had incredible penalty kills. Iowa State is only 1 for 8 on the power play. They were 0 for 2 against Michigan Dearborn. And then Minot State is 10 for 10 on the penalty kill. They have been perfect, and they're going to look to keep that perfection right now.
I think what's crazy about the penalty kill here, too, is it's a combined 20-22 on the penalty kill. So, I mean, both these teams are very solid at killing off penalties.
As Minot State was 3 for 3 against Lindenwood. And that's huge because there was a 5-on-3 involved in that third period. And a huge kill for them as here's Jackson Grolum in front of the Minot State bench and fired back in for Foreman. As Davis Sheldon, 2 minutes for cross-checking. And 1:20 left on the Cyclones' opening chance with a man advantage. O'Connor tried to tip it below the goal line and out of the zone, but Goggin was there. And now here's Azevedo. Azevedo, right point, comes out of the zone. Erickson to Olsen. And tipped in by Goggin as Bykowski comes to play it. And a slap shot from Foreman. Will it get out of the zone? It will. Delayed offside, so Minot State can rag some time as it's Rhett Locke. Locke as well having a huge year in terms of the penalty kill numbers. He's always out there when Wade Regeer's team is down a man or two, and he's not afraid to get his body in front of shots as well.
Not at all. None of these players on either side are afraid of blocking shots, and both teams have sacrificed a lot of body for their netminders.
Uglum with a saucer feed to the middle, but it was caught by Bykowski. 40 seconds left in the man advantage for Iowa State. 12:05 left in the first.
Cristiano, you talk about the major 5-on-3 kill that Minot State had. But at the same time, Iowa State, while losing to Michigan Dearborn in the semifinals, they killed off a 5-minute major. So these are two absolutely fantastic kills. As Boz talked about, 21 for 22 combined on the PK. I'll be surprised if either one of these teams score a power play goal in this match.
You know, the term is man advantage, but it doesn't seem like it applies to either of these two teams when they're on the PK.
I call it a man disadvantage.
There you go. Here's Nick Sandy for Olsen, now for Azevedo, top of your screen, gains a blue line. Here comes Kramer, but the puck exploded off of his stick. He would have had a wide open look. And charging the other way is Drew Carter. Short-handed rush, 2-on-2, but he couldn't wait up for Fournier's right skates. 11:40 left in the first period. Only 15 seconds of power play time left for the Cyclones.
Yeah, Kramer comes flying in down the wing there, just couldn't quite receive that pass. Right after I said I wasn't expecting a power play goal, he gets that chance. I thought he was about to make me eat my words.
Face off in front of the Cyclones bench. They are the home team. And it's interesting when you hear that, knowing that they're a number 5 seed and Minot State the visitors. Number 6, Tommy Hansen. Last rush for Iowa State. Jackson Grellum with a shot through traffic. But guess what? Josh Bykowski, he's been a Venus flytrap all tournament and has been tonight.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good save by Bykowski. There was a Iowa State player who was crossing right in front of him as his shot took off. So it was a tough save for Bykowski, but a nifty job to keep this netted at 0.
Bykowski, 2-0 in the tournament, .64 goals against average, .971 save percentage. Video game-like numbers as a shot comes through traffic from Paulson, missed everything. We're back to 5-on-5. Justin Metcalf, left circle. He fires one over the right shoulder of Gedeke, and he met the glass with that one. Seems the scouting report from Minot State on Matt Gedeke appears to be over those left and right shoulders.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to go high, and that could be scouting report. It could also just be how you try to beat a goalie and, you know, as a forward. But if they think they found a weakness, they might be the first ones to do it.
Matt Gedeke
Michigan Dearborn scored up twice up there yesterday in the game.
Matt Gedeke, 6'4", 180 pounds. So you got to go either upstairs, downstairs, through the back door. Who knows? He's been a wall throughout the tournament. 10:43 left in the first period. If you just joined us, Cristiano Simonetta alongside Quinn Kuski. Baza Tavari is down at ice level. It's the national championship in the ACHA Men's Division I. And it's been a spectacular game so far. Two defenses trying to figure each other out. As here is Hunter Dolan along the red line. Skipped away freely by number 8, Reese Foreman. And back to the left circle. In Iowa State zone as Sandy has some trouble with it. Got it over to Dolan, and Sandy again, as reliable as they come in terms of blue liners, not only in the CSCHL, but in the ACHA. And Sandy right on cue for Marcicilli. Good stretch pass on the tape of number 16, Andrew Lee, a sophomore forward out of Wisconsin. But it's the speedy number 89, Cody Longy, stripping it from him. And now for Rhett Locke. Bottom of your screen along the red line, blue line, left wing side. He flips one through the legs of Olsen, and it comes behind the cage for Paulson, who jousts a bit with number 68, Jordan Robertson. And Goggin eases one of the
tournament. A lot of players coming out of the ACHA, a lot of support, especially out of the NHL. The Dallas Stars this year, Columbus Blue Jackets last year, and even we have some support from head coaches like Nashville head coach Peter Laviolette, his son playing in the D2 National Tournament.
Florida Gulf Coast, always a force in Division II. As what was it, their 3rd championship in 4 years? Pretty remarkable.
And a 3rd championship in 4 years, and they're making these appearances. It's almost like a foregone conclusion. You can count on Florida Gulf Coast to be very heavily involved in the tournament at the end of things.
Minot State with the puck at the blue line as it's going to be number 78, Sheldon, going offside. 12 minutes and 16 seconds into the first period. And zeros are wild in Frisco, and we already talked about the defensive-minded approach that these two teams are taking, but these two offenses, if you make a slip-up, if you allow an odd man rushing, and end up in the back of your net.
Yeah, I think we're in for a super defensive battle today. We've talked about the special teams and the penalty kill and how great those have been, but also the goaltenders. Just coming this season, Bykowski, he's coming in with a .930 save percentage. On the other end, Gedeke coming in with a .918.
Bancer below the goal line. The Cyclones with some pressure. Sabo! He scores! Trevor Sabo! And we're off and running in the ACHA National Championship with number 9 in white for Iowa State.
Yeah, it had been quite a while since Bykowski got beaten. We were looking at 3 whole periods and then another over half of this one. It had been over 73 minutes since Bykowski has gotten beat, and he finally has someone put a puck behind him. Now, if you're Bykowski, you can't let that rattle you. You got to settle back into this game.
Trevor Sabo.
Yeah.
What a goal from him.
He just got caught leaning one way, and you open up a space with the shooters that we have in this tournament. They're going to score that every time.
But Trevor Sabo, the senior forward out of Skokie, Illinois. He opened the scoring against Michigan Dearborn yesterday, and he's got another this time in the national tournament.
Yeah,
almost on the same type of goal. It was just deflected a little bit yesterday.
Paulson to the far side, Olsen. And now Azevedo through his own legs, gets the puck in deep for Iowa State. And Bykowski behind the goal. It is Foreman. Nice pass for Robertson, who is just bashed by Uglum. And now Kramer. Quick pass. It's Uglum. High slot, he fires. That was blocked away, and Tony Uglum. Eyes as big as saucers there, but the shot was knocked down in front by a defender.
Yeah, if Uglum comes in and puts that home, we might have started to look at a runaway in this one, as Iowa State's already got momentum. You pot 1-2 in 30 seconds, and suddenly things could get ugly.
Bolifer at his own blue line. Now for Dylan Gatos, red line. To the Cyclone line it goes. Now for Joel Swedlow, as that pass was broken up, and now he tried a second shot, but that missed everything as well. Max Olson, top of your screen with the outlet. But stopped by number 51, Bolifer, who chips one back in. And it'll be Olson, who's had a lot of action tonight, and we're going to be saying the 5 names of the 5 defenders for Iowa State, because that's all they have. They don't run a 6th.
Yeah, Iowa State's defenders are going to log a lot of minutes, and as Iowa State comes in here on the top line of Minot State, those 2 players log a ton of minutes as well, so a lot of familiar names.
Behind the goal now, Minot State, led by their captain, Blake Fournier to the red line. Puck is flipped over him, recovered by Lipinski as a racing Lee was on as he tried to implore the forecheck. 5:40 left in the first period. 1-0 Cyclones thanks to a goal scored by Trevor Sabo. Now behind the goal, it's the 4th line for Minot State. Fournier to the far side corner for number 97, Drew Carter, the freshman out of Kelowna, British Columbia. And the shot from the right point missed the stick out in front. To the near side circle we go. Fournier, check from behind. That's going to be a penalty. And it's captain on captain violence. Nick Sandy's going to get the gate. Minot State now to their first power play.
Yeah, Sandy might have been mad at the fact that Fournier took the opening faceoff on the ceremonial drop. I know they exchanged a couple of words after that one.
You know, it's the national championship. There's animosity. It's fast-paced, but as we take another look at that hit, just something you can't do if you're Sandy.
Yeah, that's a real bad penalty to take if you're Sandy. Your team's already up 1-0. Now your best defenseman goes to the box. That hurts your kill a lot, but they've had a great kill. We'll see if Sandy, being the leader of that kill and now being in the box, if that affects things.
Iowa State 11 for 12 on the PK throughout the tournament. Minot State 2 for 12 with the man advantage. They were 0 for 5 against Lindenwood. Here's O'Connor to the near side, Connor Navarrete. To the left hash marks. Killian, now O'Connor, the shot deflected out in front, and a rebound try. It skitters to the near side corner where it's Sheldon. And Sheldon stepping in at the circle, shoots through a leg. It was blocked away and fired almost near Baza Tavari down at ice level as it missed him, went to the Cyclones bench. A face-off of 4:55.
You referenced Minot State being 0 for 5 yesterday against Lindenwood, but it wasn't due to lack of chances. Their goal that was disallowed was on the power play. They also had multiple posts and so many spectacular chances, just couldn't quite finish it, and now they'll look to right now.
Joel Swedlow at the left point. Now straightaway. Good pass for Sheshuk. He's the trigger man. As it's Swedlow again. Faking the drop pass for Bolifer. Number 74 to the circle. On for Sheshuk. The shot was blocked away. And he gets it right back, though. Hash marks. One-timer out in front. Easily blockered. Away by Gedicke to the near side as that was Lipinski out in front. Gatos.
Yeah, rolled off his stick a little bit.
As Gatos to the far side. Now for Bolifer. And Swedlow for Sheshuk with a minute left in the power play. Sheshuk trying to drive to the high slot, and that's not the right move. You don't have a lot of support there as Iowa State uses the high glass and gets it down.
Yeah, Sheshuk was just looking for something. He knew he was reaching the end of his shift, and they hadn't really developed that incredible of an opportunity. He was desperate, trying to make something happen, and just couldn't quite do it there.
Bolifer racing out of his own zone. A far side option to number 78 Sheldon, and back to Bolifer. And he was sticked away by number 28, Colton Kramer, who does some more good work, and it's back into the Iowa State zone, but lofted down by Olsen.
You got to be careful of this Iowa State penalty kill. Grolem has a shorthanded goal in this tournament, so they can create chances while down a man.
Good try by Metcalf to dance through 2. Longy now, right point for O'Connor, and back for Longy straightaway, top of the umbrella. For Sheldon, and O'Connor fakes the drive. Now Longy will try one, as that was off the inside of his blade, not in his wheelhouse. 5 seconds left in the power play. A stuff chance from Navrat, no avail. And fired down the ice. Sandy was almost able to get that chance, but he had to be restrained by the sin bin for 2 more seconds.
Yeah, Quinn, hey, I think you got to be happy with the power play on that. If you're Minot State, didn't get a goal, but there's a lot of momentum rolling back on this red bench.
Yeah, momentum has been the story of Minot State's power play, but no goal. You could the 0 for 5 last night, and I mean they're sitting at 2 for 12 right now on the tourney.
And make that 2 for 13. Battle behind the net of Matt Gedeke. And we'll spotlight him in just a couple of minutes here as Dylan Goggin trying to escape. But Shane Sheshuk draws the turnover. And for Swedlow. And now for Dylan Gatos. Turning away from a check. That was Adam Alcott. And now in front. Good move there with one hand on a second. A backhander. Skip to the outside of the cage. Swedlow with that chance. Speaking of chances that Swedlow had, he had a couple posts throughout this tournament. No goals for number 74 just yet, but he's been knocking on that door.
Yeah, it would be almost poetic justice if he gets one in this tournament, but I wouldn't be surprised if he catches a couple posts and winds up not getting one at the same time.
Sheshuk tried an individual move. Now it's Hunter Dolan. He's checked by Johnson, but Dolan gets the puck in deep as Lipinski guiding the puck behind his own goal with some pressure from Dolan. A good shift for number 11 in white. Forces the turnover. Now it's Andrew Lee, but Robertson was able to get it to his blue line. Throw it down the ice. This one will be icing. 18 minutes and 5 seconds into the first period.
Wade Regier, the head coach over here, he's right to the left of me. He's pretty happy with the efforts that Minot State's have been affording putting on the ice right now. He knows that they're pretty close to getting one. He's pretty happy with the effort so far.
His team's being outshot 10-5 by the Cyclones, who have that 1-goal lead, thanks to the tally by Trevor Sabo. Brother Evan plays for Illinois, Minot State. Defeated the Illini in the round of 16. So do you think Evan's rooting for his brother here, especially not only because his brother's in the national championship, but because he's playing the team that knocked him out? Here comes Robertson. Left circle, fires one. That looked a little bit tricky for Gedeke as that went off the right arm and into the paraphernalia. Whistle with 1:42 left in the first.
Yeah, that shot came out on Gedeke there. It almost slipped right into his armpit on his blocker's side, and he's able to pinch it off after it started to get in there, but you could almost feel the panic from the Iowa State side of the ice as that puck started to try and slip through.
Fournier against Azevedo. Offensive zone face-off for the Beavers. And the captain wins it. Wowrick tried to knock it down out of midair. And a good play from Carter. To the right point it goes for Austin Killian. Below the goal line now for Fournier. With some space along that circle, a tight angle drive. And why not if you're trying to beat Matt Gedeke? Can't pass up any looks out in front. Stranger goals have gone in as we've seen in the national tournament. Cooper Seat an example. And a good steal. Now it's Wowrick, maybe a 2-on-1. Wowrick with some space, left circle, backdoor pass. They score! The captain, he's done it again. Blake Fournier tied at 1.
Blake Fournier with the lone goal last night. He pots home that one right there, and that's how you beat Gedeke. You can't just come in and take a shot. It's got to be a pass across for a one-time or something of that fashion.
Just really poor defense from Iowa State. Blake Fournier came in unmatched on that far side. You could see him skate in. Iowa State just late getting there. That affords Minot State the opportunity for the equalizer from the captain. We're netted even right again.
Yeah, right off of a turnover. Iowa State was bringing it out of their defensive and thought they had time for a change. Puck gets turned over. They got caught in that bad change, and now it's 1-1.
So we've seen Trevor Sabo, an alternate captain for Iowa State, get the scoring started for his club, and now it's the captain tying up the game for the Beavers. As we have 55 seconds left in the first. Now a backdoor pass attempt, and that was a beautiful end-to-end rush by C.J. Banser, but didn't find his intended target. And
that
a
target
good shoulder
was Sabo.
move. Look out, Metcalf, right circle. Saucer pass was knocked down. Foreman out in front, and the backhander easily stick the side and held by Gedeke. 41.2 left in the first period.
Yeah, on that 2-on-1 rush for Iowa State, that pass across from Banser was for Sabo. Almost a second of the game for him, which would have been his first multi-goal game of this tournament. And if you want to choose a game to have your first, the championship would be a pretty good one.
Adam Alcott at the draw with Shane Sheshuk. Alcott wins it to the near side. Now it's Tommy Hansen. He's pressured hit by the Minot State forecheck, led by number 37, Dylan Gatos. It's wrapped to the far side, Grolem. His weak backhander just gets out to center. And it's played now by Bolifer to Lipinski, the top defensive pairing for Minot State. Pass on Lipinski's side of center. No icing, though, as Olsen will recover it, do a pirouette, shaking off a defender. And now another move from number 4 in white, but he throws it all the way down. Bullifer can't reach it. An icing call with 8.9 seconds left in the first period. Cyclones won, Beavers won.
The Cyclones there, Olsen was trying to get that puck to Grolem, skied it just a little bit too high, and now you go from being at the end of period number 1 to suddenly having a defensive zone draw. If you're Minot here, you win this draw back to Lipinski. He's already got 2 in this tournament, or no, 3 in this tournament. It wouldn't be a surprise if he catches 1 more.
Although Minot State won the draw, Iowa State takes it out, and the dump in from Hansen will close out this opening set of 20 minutes. Trevor Sabo with the first goal of the national championship. Blake Fournier with the response. We're tied at 1 after 1.
Yeah, this has been the low-scoring game we expected it to be. It's been a defensive slugfest, back and forth. Both teams struggling to gain chances, but both teams making sure to capitalize on the few chances they're getting.
Yeah, and you mentioned few chances. These goaltenders, they're very good. Matt Gedeke in the crease for Iowa State, arguably the goaltender of the tournament. 3 wins so far, and then you look at Josh Bykowski, who had to sub in, and he is perfect as well. Let's send it down to ice level with Baz Echevarri.
With Minot State head coach, after 20 minutes, you find yourselves tied 1-1, battling back. With the thoughts on the first period?
You know what? It's kind of one of those. I think both teams probably spent the first 10 minutes kind of feeling each other out. I think that's just the national tournament nerves on both teams, and then all of a sudden you see the play kind of open up both ways, and then finally we were able to respond late to kind of tie it up.
How do you take that lead in the second period and keep it going in the third?
You know what? We just got to find our energy. I think both teams know we're 4-4 nights. It's a grind. It's absolutely going to be tough, and they just got to find energy to be able to take it to the next step, and that's going to be our message.
All right, thank you, Wade. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Boz. Thank you, head coach Wade Regier of the Minot State Beavers. 1-1 Quinn after 1 period. A bold prediction for the second.
All right, bold prediction. I think we're going to come out. Swedlow's going to get one early in period number 2, but he's going to be answered later on in the period by Uglum. We'll go to the end of 2, tied at 2-2.
That'll do it for us this period. They'll send it to a commercial break, and when we come back, it's the ACHA Intermission Report. Don't go anywhere.
We have to kill off a minor penalty.
Oh boy.
Focus. How long do we have to fill to?
There you go.
Oh, the clock's not moving. The clock's not moving. This should be.
You call that a pass? What are you doing? You missed the puck. Come on.
It's definitely a big deal. The next 4 years of my life will determine my future. I'm gonna need an education to do what I want to do. But I want more. I want the best I can get, and I'm ready to work hard for it. That's why I'm choosing Minot State University. Minot State University. Be seen, be heard, belong.
Skating was hard at first.
Little help,
Sometimes
Andy.
I fell, but I always got back up. Now when I'm skating, I feel like a rocket, or maybe a race car. Something really fast.
Yeah, dude,
It's my second
why'd you
favorite
just do
feeling.
that to us?
Scoring is
Well,
my
my
favorite.
pregame prediction was overtime anyway, so
I think even more than birthday cake.
I hope not. I got 12 teams I got to get down onto Excel for.
so it's just
Iowa State was the place where Derek began his adventure.
Derek was one of the first students in the industrial design program.
Our apartment together was a design studio. A light bulb went off one day. I think he thought, I can design sneakers.
Derek's first study abroad experience, in fact, was in Rome.
He was able to go to London.
Did an internship in Germany.
Internship in New York City.
He designed in Chicago, and now he's on his way to design in California.
To see the excitement in Derek's face when he was moving to California is amazing. For Derek, it's a dream come true.
Enjoy your adventure at Iowa State. Visit ChooseYourAdventure.net.
You ready? This guy's not ready. You're not ready. Let's go!
Hockey heads are special, which is why we protect them with a helmet designed, built, and tested to endure real-world hockey impacts.
if you're expecting anything out of the ordinary, well, you'll be disappointed. Through 20 minutes, it's been as scheduled, a defensive-minded showdown between the number 5 Iowa State Cyclones and the number 6 Minot State Beavers, tied at 1 through the first period. Welcome into the 2019 ACHA Division I National Championship Intermission Report. Casey Roll alongside Thomas Biondo. TB, we were talking about it pregame as we enter the game tonight. Defense was the MO of both sides, and through 20, we weren't disappointed.
No, not at all. It's they put up a wall around their netminders, and they're either shots if they get through, which has been rare because there's so many bodies in front of the netminders. The saves are being made, but again, it's a wall in front, and then they're boxing out rebounds. So if it's bouncing off and the goalie does see it late and just get something on it, their players are turning and clearing. And you know, it's funny because we did mention it in the pregame show. Both goaltenders here kind of have a little special circumstances going on. You know, Bykowski comes in, filling in for efforts. You know, back a game and a half ago, he comes in and he's only given up about a goal and a half, I think, on the goals against average since he's come in. And then, you know, on the other end, one of the worst statistical goaltenders, at least of the Final Four, was Godecki, and he's come in. And Godecki's numbers in this tournament, it's just remarkable how good he's been. A 1.18 goals against average coming into here, a 3-0 record, obviously, and a .96 save percentage. You know, it really is kind of the goaltenders leading the charge from the back end.
Godecki and Bykowski have the 2 best save percentages and goals against averages for any goalie in this national tournament with a minimum of 2 games played. So goaltending was something that was going to be something on the docket. When you look on paper, TB, it's pretty well even between shots on goal, blocks, and face-off wins, but something else that's been something to watch for and something that's been the main key for these two teams and their wins, it's the penalty kill, and both teams 1 for 1 on the kill.
Yeah, we addressed it in the pregame show, and again, it's big. It's absolutely, and it's a part of that defense. When you have that good defense and that good net minding, just in case, let's go those numbers again. 9 for 9 was Minot coming into this one. Iowa State was 11 for 12 on the penalty kill coming into this one. Both, obviously, one's 100%, the other over 90. And again, I think really the slowest points of the game were the power plays, because they couldn't just get anything generated, and it's unbelievable. I think you're gripping the stick too hard. Try to simplify that game, see if you can get something on, because neither team, there were a lot of shots credited during the Iowa State power play. I don't feel like any of them were really grade A scoring chances, though.
Only 1 shot on goal for Minot State in their power play, so not the best offensive showings. But Thomas, the goals for both teams, familiar faces. First, let's talk about Iowa State's goal, and that was Trevor Sabo, goals in back-to-back games.
Yeah, I liked what Sabo did. I liked what the team did. They started a cycle game, and it actually, I don't know if it was accidental or on purpose, but while they were cycling, it looked like the puck actually kind of hit off the boards awkwardly, came right out to Sabo, The netminder's still staying on the post there, wanted to make sure. I don't know if Bykowski saw it come out in front. And then it was a riser right into the back of the net.
And for Minot State, it was another familiar name. The only goal scorer last night against the #1 seed Lindenwood, that was the captain, Blake Fournier.
And he called it, by the way. He called it. He did. He didn't necessarily say who would win, but what he said was they got to start going back door against a tall goaltender. Sure enough, you get somebody coming in the backside, net's wide open. Fournier's not going to make that mistake, especially after getting the one last night. He's feeling good. He cashes in.
Hey, Bob Botsko left St. Cloud State last season. The Huskies are the #1 seed in the country right now. If they need a new coach, I'm right here. I'm just a junior and I'm you.
He's ready to go.
I could use a job. I'm a college student and I could use a job. But anyway, through 20 minutes, the job right now is to get goals on the board, but defense is handling business right now. Through 20, it's 1-1. We sent to break. When we return, we break down more of the action from the first period of our 2019 ACHA Division I National Championship. You're watching the first period intermission report on the ACHA Network.
This guy's not ready. You're not ready. Let's go!
Hockey heads are special, which is why we protect them with a helmet designed, built, and tested to endure real-world hockey impacts.
Skating was hard at first. Sometimes I fell, but I always got back up. Now when I'm skating, I feel like a rocket, or maybe a race car. Something really fast. It's my second favorite feeling. Scoring is my favorite. I think I like it even more than birthday cake.
Back from the Comerica Center in downtown Frisco, 1-1 our score between the #6 Minot State Beavers and the #5 Iowa State Cyclones, the Division I National Championship game. Casey Roll with you alongside Thomas Biondo on our first period intermission report. TB, there have been a lot of big moments in this national tournament with players who have come up with really big opportunities, and in some cases, some of the names you don't expect. Yeah. This game, that's the exact opposite. The big names have struck, and in net, the big-time goalies have been dominant. What has to change for both teams to take the lead in the second?
Well, you know, honestly, I liked Minot State's first period. I really did. I thought that they had the better chances. It looked like they had, their scouting report was shooting high. 3 times they were coming down the left wing, shots ended up hitting the glass. If I'm just in there, get them on goal, guys. Bring the shots down, let's hit the netminder. Maybe they'll create a rebound, maybe they'll go in. That would obviously be preferred. But, you know, that's what I would do. Just get those pucks to the net. If I'm sitting in the other locker room, Iowa State, I just need to ratchet it up, calm down, and go ratchet it up. I know that sounds weird, but guys, play our game. We're good defensively. Keep them on the outside. Keep doing that. Wait for our counterattack. We'll get a chance. We'll get a chance. We'll be fine. Just kind of see if you can't get a little bit more going both ways.
And now on that, you talk about playing your game. Forechecking is a lot of what makes this team so good, both teams so good. And Thomas, we were talking about it earlier in the game, a lot of shifting throughout this tournament for both teams on the forecheck. How does that help contribute to possibly scoring and getting offense?
Well, I tell you, it was most noticeable for me in back-to-back games by that Iowa State played or was a part of, in a way. So Davenport played University of Michigan Dearborn. Dearborn frequently had 3 guys behind the net. The puck carrier directly behind the line, the guys in the corners. Davenport stayed back, behind the blue line. Didn't really force that at all, and Michigan could set up. Iowa State did not allow Dearborn to do that. They went 1-for-1 matching up against them. And I think that really took Michigan out of their game a little bit. You know, they're used to having that time, but instead they were being, well, I can't go this way and I can't go this way and I really can't go up the middle. And so that's what it does. That's what the ability to play a 1-2-2, a 2-1-2, a 3-1-1, that ability to change when you have a good defensive team and they can handle those changes, that's what it allows you for.
And Thomas, something else with Iowa State, they carry the fewest defensemen on any roster in Division I hockey, only 5. How does having these two-way forwards really benefit this Cyclone defense?
Asked and answered. That's it. If you have defensemen that are your defensemen have responsibilities, you know they're going to be good with their responsibilities. If you're dressing 5 and you frequently dress 5, you know those 5 are going to be responsible. You're not going to have a weak link in that group. They're going to be very similar, very good. So as forwards up front, you just got to help them out. Make the simple play. Not everything's got to be special, and I think that's how Iowa State got here. They kept it simple, made simple plays, and again, counterattack when it was there.
And now, flip side for Minot State, knowing there are only 5 Cyclone defensemen, how do you wear them out over these last 40?
Possession, 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 and don't miss an opportunity to take a hit, to make a hit. And that was actually one of the first notes I had. Game started out physical. I really felt Minot State was the more physical team. Iowa State don't get me wrong, they didn't back down. They made checks too, but I think Minot may very well know what you just said. I'm sure they do. That's why their coaches are in the locker room and we're sitting up here. But that's it. Pressure those guys, make them work every single time they're back there, and make them feel every single time they're back there.
And Thomas, shots on goal right now only 11-8, but it seems like there's at least 20 for both sides with the amount of scoring chances each have had.
Yeah, it's funny where again, the shots are right. I don't feel the grade A scoring chances have been there. So, and that's where a lot happens, where you get misled. You look at a box score, you see a team might have been outshot 35-21, and you think, man, the team that only had 21 had a terrible day. Well, was there anything really memorable outside of the goals in any of the other 17 shots? Was there really that, whoa, maybe 1 or 2 of those saves? And that's, again, not a knock on the offensive power of the team. I think it's just more of a credit to the defense of the team.
And if you're Minot State, you can say that exact same thing. Lindenwood outshot us last night, and they were kept off the board. Another fact, Minot State has been outshot in the last 3 games played this tournament. They have not outshot their opponents in the first 20 minutes.
But what I liked about Minot, and again, to go back to that, since you brought up the Lindenwood game, what they did great there is they played to win that game. So Minot State goes into that third period. They're up 1-0. They have a couple penalties they have to kill, but they stayed on the attack. One of the most common things that people complain about, well, they played to lose, or they played not to lose and they lost. I did not get that feel watching that Minot State game against Liberty. So that's something against Lindenwood. That's something you got to keep in mind that they have in their repertoire. Keep on attacking, even with the lead.
We'll keep on attacking. We'll see who attacks for the second goal of the game. After 20 minutes, it's tied at 1 between Minot and Iowa State. We send it now to the broadcast booth to the one and only Quinn Kuski and Cristiano Simonetta.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Thomas. Cristiano Simonetta joined alongside by Quinn Kuski. We're in the Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas. It's a 1-1 game after 1 period. The second period about to start in a couple minutes. And Quinn, we want to talk about maybe the goal scorers of that first period, but how about the backstoppers? Matt Gedeke and Josh Bykowski, they've been great in their own regard.
Yeah, both of these teams have almost goaltenders that would acquire legendary status in this tournament. You have Matt Gedeke with a 3-0 record, 1.18 goals allowed average, 96 save percentage. And not to be outdone, you have Joshua Bykowski, comes in relief of Efforts, who, in my opinion, was having a fairly poor tournament and has just turned it on for this team. 2-0 record, a .64 goals allowed average, and a 97.1 save percentage, stopping almost everything that comes his way. And you have to go and look at last year. You have to compare him to Rodebush, who only let in 1 goal the entire tournament and was the backstop that carried Adrian to a national title.
And he was the tournament MVP as well. And Matt Gedeke, you look at his regular season numbers, Quinn, a 2.5 goals against average, a .918 save percentage. Those numbers are stellar, don't get me wrong, but they're not MVP worthy like he's been in this national tournament, saving Iowa State time and time again, especially in that double overtime thriller against Michigan Dearborn.
Yeah, and if you want to sort through the entire ACHA and base your sort off of goals allowed average, you have Joshua Bykowski as a backup goalie. He was actually the 5th best goalie in the ACHA. Their starter, Braden Efforts, was the best goalie in the ACHA. And you have to scroll way down all the way to number 20 to find Matt Gedeke. And he has been the best goalie in this tournament, much different than what you'd expect.
But now, all the regular season stats, they're thrown out the window. It doesn't matter what you did then, it matters what you do now. And for guys like Trevor Sabo, he's been leading Iowa State all season long, as has Blake Fournier. So the superstars, they're being the better players for both these squads, at least in that opening period.
Yeah, the players that you would expect to score are the players that have been scoring, so that's no surprise. But I think what this game will come down to is not your typical scorers, but your atypical scorers, the guys you don't expect to put the biscuit in the basket. You know, your Lipinskis, those kind of guys that haven't scored a lot of goals. Lee didn't score a single goal in the regular season. Perhaps this is the time he finally gets one. You go in overtime, you go in, late game where it's still even, as I think we both expect this game to be. You don't care who your goal comes from as long as you're getting one, and you never know who it could wind up being.
Iowa State will go from right to left. Minot State left to right, as you see head coach Wade Regier. A well-decorated coach, 2-time ACHA Coach of the Year, and Matt Gedeke on your screen right now for Iowa State. Undefeated in this tournament, 3 wins, 1.18 goals against average, .960 save percentage, and Josh Bykowski, how good has he been in relief? Goals against under .70 and a save percentage of .971. They've been brick walls, but the goal has gone through on either side. They're getting set for the second stanza. As Banser, number 22, bottom of your screen, maybe a guy to watch out for. And how about the guy next to him, Quinn? It's Joel Swedlow, who has had an assortment of opportunities in this tournament, but hasn't bought a goal.
Yeah, Swedlow's had a monkey on his back this whole tournament. Banser opened up the scoring for Iowa State in this tournament. So those are definitely 2 guys that both teams could be looking for.
Even strength to start the second period. Each team had a power play chance. Neither succeeded. It's Dylan Gatos at his own blue line. Back checked hard by Sabo. And Gatos does his job and gains the red line. Now it's Sheshuk below the goal line for Swedlow. Whacked back by Sandy as Paulson checked in the lower back. He takes a tumble, but the puck still comes free now for Dylan Goggin. Goggin, high circles. That shot didn't miss by much, but it was aiming for the far side post and met the end boards. Now it's Swedlow. Has Sheshuk on his right. Swedlow, toe drag, nice one to the backhand. He's in the clear, he shoots. Left pad save by Gedeke. Rebound, they score on the second chance opportunity. It's Shane Sheshuk, 45 seconds into the second period.
That is incredible. We were just talking about the multitude of chances for Swedlow, and I thought we were about to see that monkey continue to cling to his back. He doesn't get the goal, but he definitely generates that opportunity.
Yeah, Gedeke, I mean, he was kind of scrambling on that. Gets that first shot. You see him go to that far post, try to squeeze it, squeaks right under. He didn't get those leg pads together. That's what allowed that puck to squeak through.
And they're going to take a look at this, though.
Review as well. I think one of the things is, did he control it? But I think that puck was still squeaking through. I don't think he maintained control of it. Maybe it might be a little goaltender interference. That might be the call. Of course, Iowa State, they do have an iPad looking at the replays as well from speed to kind of challenge it. Maybe that's what initiated this challenge.
And you may want to look at how this puck ended that, but also how Matt Gedeke moved through his own blue paint, Quinn.
Yeah, Gedeke's already drifting back as this initial chance comes in. Swedlow's getting taken to the ice as he takes the shot. He comes in, he pushes the net a little bit, and you have people jabbing at the net, but I just don't know if you can wave that off.
The call on the ice was goal.
Yeah, Quinn, I think the one thing you do have to remember that, Cristiano, you mentioned it, the call on the ice was a goal. You get the side cam look. This is what they're going to look at. I think this should stand just looking at it, he did get cross-checked in, and it pokes through. I don't see a way that this gets overturned.
And that angle was going to be the most definitive look we'll see of that play, that goal line cam. But this is a controversial decision, and boy, have we had a couple of these throughout the national tournament.
Yeah, we've had a lot of really stressful decisions. I'm starting to feel bad for these refs. It seems like every big game now you have one of these huge goal reviews. You had 2 in each semifinal game, and you have 1 now.
And it looks
like
like
this one kind of relatively quick compared to the reviews that we've had.
Here comes the decision. It's a good goal. Shane Sheshuk, the leading scorer for Minot State in the regular season, had 1 goal earlier in the tournament against Illinois, but it was an empty netter. This one comes against Matt Gedeke 45 seconds into the second period. Minot State with a 2-1 lead.
And it couldn't come at a more opportune time for Minot State. They've been playing great hockey since that first goal came from Iowa. They answered at the end of the first, and clearly that momentum's carried forward as only 45 seconds in.
And Joel Swedlow's going to get credit for that goal.
I was going to say when we saw that first replay of the goal cam, it looked like it never touched Sheshuk, and sure enough, it never touched his stick. It was Swedlow's goal.
So Joel Swedlow, we were just talking about him. Talk about the reverse side of an announcer's jinx, as Swedlow capitalizes for his first goal of the tournament. Minot State, their first lead in the national championship game. Azevedo and the Cyclones trying to respond. They load up at the top line. It's Uglum to the far side corner. O'Connor boards up number 7. You're not going to keep him held down for very long as Tony Uglum comes in, 6'1", 205. This puck is sent down the ice. Racing to it will be Hallback. We'll get an icing. 105 into the second period. Let's go downstairs with Boz.
Yeah, I think this is a big game for both schools as well. Plenty of watch parties. We know that they're watching it at Ames at the Welch Ave Station. That's a bar for ISU students. On the other side, up in Minot, the Beaver Dam, the Student Center on campus. Mind you, the Beaver Dam, Minot State, it's only a campus of 3,500. ISU, 35,000. A lot of students invested in this game, as well as the social media director for Iowa State. She drove the 6 hours down yesterday to make this game.
The commitment from both these schools, it's a great showing here in the Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas, as an offside play. 1:15 into the second period.
Yeah, you have 2 teams that, if you're Iowa State or Minot State, both teams have been here before, but it doesn't matter how many times you come to a national championship game, it's always a huge deal.
Iowa State hasn't won a national championship in 27 years. Minot State, a 6-year drought for them, and a shot from Alcott. Chested by Bykowski. We get a whistle, 18:37. Left in the second period. Shots. Cyclones with 12. Beavers with 11.
Yeah, the shots might look close, but you have a very big discrepancy in the quality of the shots that are coming in. A lot of Iowa State shots are from the outside, as are a lot of Minot's, but Minot's is getting better opportunities in this game right now.
Marcicelli's drive from the left point was knocked down, and it's a race to it. Wowrick against Marcicelli and Sandy. It'll be won by the home squad as we get an icing. 18:29 left in the second period.
Yeah, I think right now, too, I mean, ever since that first period, kind of just off that power play, it feels like the play has kind of been in that Minot State bench. A lot of momentum, a lot of energy right now. Iowa State kind of all sitting down on the bench right now. They've been relaxed before. We saw this yesterday, but Minot State all the way up on the rail. They're all invested in this game right now.
Erickson against Fournier. A quick shot from Andrew Lee. Sputtered past the cage. And a flip out now as Fournier will race to it against Paulson. No icing as Paulson skates around his own goal. And a huge hit there, my goodness, as Wowrick just labeled Paulson, and he's a bit shaken up after that one.
Tell you what, you want to give your team some momentum? There's a way to do it.
And Wowrick, who's been very effective in this national tournament. As you look at number 14 stats, 8 goals, 11 assists in the regular season, but he set up Fournier's goal, the only goal against Lindenwood yesterday.
Yeah, Fournier's been awesome. Wowrick has been awesome. A lot of players being huge for this Minot State team right when they needed it.
Turnover. Now it's Robertson behind the cage. Olsen pinning it up along the far glass. 17:39 left in the second period. It's a 2-1 lead for Minot State thanks to a goal scored by Joel Swedlow 45 seconds into this middle frame. And Olsen again wrapping up his job there. And it's to the far side where it's Johnson. As Robertson and Olsen, they just appear to be attached to each other throughout this entire shift. And it'll continue again as the puck comes free to the left side. Now it's Lipinski. Goes diagonal below the goal line. 17-10 left in the second period. Lock now for Swedlow. Trying to hit Sheshuk along the goal line. This is an extended shift for Iowa State. And of course, we have the long change here, Quinn. Minot trying to take advantage. Swedlow, backhand. That was stopped by the defender out in front. That was Olsen in a 2-on-2 rush. Jackson Grollam going right, trying to shoot left and against the grain, but that shot was stifled by a Minot State defender as Bulliford takes a tumble. 16:43 left in the second.
Yeah, as Grollam came in there, he really showed off the wheels, wasn't able to generate an incredible opportunity, but that speed could lead to a goal chance later on in this game.
Sheshuk had his pass tipped away by number 22, CJ Banser. Now the near side along the boards. It gets as far as the Minot blue line. Swedlow off his skate. Now for the palm and stick of Gatos, and Swedlow with a drive, knocked away to the far side corner. And Minot State trying to cause some pressure as they're changing. Gatos was the only forechecker, and here comes Dylan Goggin. His pass just escapes free to the neutral zone, and shot out of a cannon is Sabo trying to go forehand back and along the left circle. He lost it. Number 18, Austin Killian gives him a rough ride into the corner. And Killian again, now on Banser. 2 men aside here for either team. Right on your screen, the puck squirts free to the far side, where it's Connor Navrat outletting for Minot.
Yeah, this game is all Minot right now. Iowa State's getting into that offensive end, but they're not generating.
Look out in front and right on cue. Quinn Navrat almost had the puck labeled for that far side, but he didn't even get the shot off.
Yeah, these are two teams with
that puck actually rolled off the blade of this, the heel of it, man. Just rolled off. That's why he couldn't get it off. Otherwise, he had a wide open net.
And here comes Wowrick down the left circle, looking out in front for Sheldon. Couldn't get the pass through. A nice job from Olsen, but Wowrick with it again. That pass skitters into the blue paint. It's a stoppage. 15:21 left in the second.
Yeah, these are two teams with very aggressive forechecks. We're looking at that huge hit again. Stick goes flying, body goes flying. That is a quick way to energize the team, and that's on that aggressive forecheck right there. These are two teams that love to force turnovers in their offensive ends, and that's a really quick way to generate points.
And a legal hit at that, right through the chest. Adam Wowrick against Justin Paulson. As here's Colton Kramer at the Minot blue line. 4 minutes and 48 seconds into the second period. We're glad you joined us. Cristiano Simonetta with you right now. Quinn Kuski alongside, and Boz Echevarri downstairs. Shot still 12-11 in favor of the Cyclones. We haven't had a shot in a couple of minutes here. Iowa State trying to change that as the puck is flipped up near us. But don't worry, we're fine. 14:55 left in the second period.
Yeah, that kind of goes down to the transitional hockey that we see in this game right now. That's kind of just taken over the last couple of minutes. But, you know, right now I think that favors Minot State. The way they're skating, I just think that an opened up ice sheet favors Minot State in this game.
Do you concur, Quinn?
Yeah, that has really been the story of both Minot and Iowa State throughout this whole tournament. Iowa State's wanting to slow that play down. In the case of Minot, they're wanting to speed it up. Right now, both teams are playing Minot State hockey.
Justin Paulson, good to see him back. Got an assist on the first goal for ISU in the tournament against Stony Brook, his only point throughout his team's 3 games. Lipinski takes a shoulder, gets the puck in deep for the Beavers. It's Rhett Locke, spiraling one in below. And Robertson exchanges for Locke. 68 and 67 in red. Going to work here. Bottom of your screen. As Sandy took a tumble. Lee trying to excavate. And now it's Paulson. Stopping and starting. Gatesel on the right circle. He gets slashed. And that's going to be a penalty as Paulson went palms up. And an offensive zone penalty for Wade Regere's club. Something you cannot do at this stage in the national tournament. Those are undisciplined plays.
Yeah, in the words of my good friend Jay Sewell, the coaches hate a penalty 200 feet away from your own net more than anything else. And now we'll see if maybe these power plays can wake up.
Yeah, it's a penalty you really didn't need. Just going along with you, Quinn. All the way on the on your offensive zone, you got to go back and play defense. Period of a long change, not a smart penalty, especially when you have the lead in a championship game.
As Rhett Locke sits 2 minutes for slashing, this is the second chance with the man advantage for Iowa State. They're 0 for 1. Puck cleared on Gedeke. And we'll get a whistle and a bit of a snow shower and a couple of cross-checks exchanged from Gatos and Olsen. Nothing coming out of it. 14:06 left in the second period.
Something interesting about Iowa State, they're now 1 for 9 on the power play. They're 1 for 12 on, or sorry, I guess now 1 for 13 scoring on the penalty kill. So they're almost just as effective scoring on the kill as they are on the power play.
I guess that'll fix that plus-minus. Of course, no plus-minus affected by the special teams, but I guess those wash when it comes to Iowa State's both PK performance in terms of scoring goals as well as their power play. That's not something that Jason Fairman wants to boast, though.
No, yeah, you definitely want to have a much better power play than what either one of these clubs has. And I guess if there's a time to fix your numbers, the championship game's a pretty good one.
And like we said, the stats thrown out the window. It doesn't matter if you're 0 for 12, 1 for 8, 15 for 15. Anything can be broken with any type of play as it's thrown down now for Olsen. Iowa State not able to get some offensive zone time on their second power play. We're already 56 seconds into it. Locke sits 2 minutes for slashing.
Yeah, if you want to finally put some offense together on the power play, sitting 200 feet away from the goal you're supposed to be putting the puck in isn't helpful.
Sandy, the captain for the Cyclones. Far side Goggin. It is pass broken up by Sheldon. Lipinski goes about 125 feet. And again, not able to gain the red line, not the blue line. And Minot State doing a great job when they're down a man once again. Bottom of your screen, Jared Erickson with some zone time now for the Cyclones. 33 seconds left in the 5-on-4. Grolum deeks to the left circle, fires one into the breadbasket of Bykowski. Grolum very shifty along those hash marks. He's had a couple of chances tonight.
Yeah, Grolum must have taken a dip in some Vaseline at the intermission, just slipping in and out of defensemen. They weren't able to get anything on him.
Jackson Grolum, 2 goals. That is tied for the team lead with Aaron Azevedo and Tony Uglum. So a 3-way tie with 2 goals.
Quinn, I might have gone with oil since we're in Texas, but I guess Vaseline works as well.
As Hallback couldn't recover the puck at the left point. 20 seconds left in Iowa State's power play. It's Paulson. Now for Goggin at his own blue line. For Grolum, the puck is soccer to the red line, and he'll try and go cross corner to a wide open. That was Tommy Hansen, but Paulson doubles back in his own zone. 3 seconds, 2 and 1. And Minot State 2 for 2 on the PK. They remain spotless. 12 for 12, which is just an insane number for me, knowing that you're going up against the top players in the country. As Erickson dumps the puck in deep. And now it's rattled on the short glass and back out to center ice where Marcesili will take it.
And they're not just going against the top players, they're going up against some of the top teams. I would say probably the hardest path to this game was Minot State. They've gone through Lindenwood, they've gone through Adrian, they've gone through Illinois. Last year's semifinals, they've beaten the 3 other teams that were in last year's semis.
Pretty remarkable. They're looking to knock off Iowa State. Still about 31 minutes of regulation left for that, though, as they're trying to add more. It is Sheldon rolling off a check along the half boards. A good check there from Erickson, who's been very aggressive in this second period for the Cyclones, coming away with it. It's Navarrete, a shot, and that is gloved by Gedeke. 11:21 left in the second period.
Yeah, right now, just looking at Iowa State, a very quiet bench right now. I know they're tired. They're looking for something to go that way. Special teams usually does at Iowa State, not with a great power play on that end, but I think if you can generate something 5-on-5, draw another penalty, at least get a power play that maintains a lot of zone time, you can bring a lot of momentum back in the bench. They're just looking maybe even a big hit to spark their team a little bit.
The center ice will go. Whack back in by Foreman. To the near side circle, it's Max Olsen. Olsen, nice pass up for Kramer. Could be an odd man rush for Iowa State. Kramer out in front for Azevedo, but that was deflected off the stick of Cody Longy, number 89 in red, black, and white, with an active stick, and he may have just stopped the game from being tied as Azevedo would have had a wide open look. And now Cheshik with a drive over the left shoulder of Gedeke, and it rattles to the near side. Azevedo for Kramer. Iowa State with some life. Good drop pass. Azevedo to Kramer. And now for Uglum. The shot was blocked away in the low slot and kept in by Olsen. Shot through traffic, missed everybody, including the 6x4. Azevedo, top of your screen. The shot, the high riser, missed everything again. And Minot State with a chance to outlet Joel Swedlow. Number 74.
See some weird caroms here, too. We're seeing that occurring on that last possession defensively for Minot State.
As Justin Paulson flips over a man, now to the near side. Closed off a bit by Fournier. And Minot State has it with Drew Carter going cross corner to the far side. Olsen gets taken down. Fournier and Wowrick hunting for it. Around the prone body of Olsen, he gets back to his skates though. And Wowrick spinning off Paulson, looking for the wrap chance. Here it comes, the shot off the pad of Gedeke. There was some room, and now Wowrick is taken down, and a good individual move there from
3-on-2.
Hansen, a 3-on-2 rush. But they fumble it just a bit, and the man slamming his stick against the far half boards, Adam Alcott. A play you don't often see from him, as well we're going to get immediate timeout. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the 2019 ACHA National Championships presented by the ACHA Network.
The 2019 ACHA National Championships are brought to you by Barron Championship Rings, proud sponsor and championship ring provider for the ACHA. Warrior Sports, the preferred stick supplier of the ACHA. The Dallas Stars. For tickets and more information, visit dallasstars.com. And Southwest Airlines, the official event airline partner of the 2019 ACHA National Championships.
Back in the Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas for the 2019 ACHA Men's Division I National Championship. Iowa State trying to tie the game up with a shot from C.J. Banser. Knocked off a defender to the near side corner. Dylan Johnson. He's bumped a bit, but Johnson does not face 6'4", 245. It's going to take a little bit more than an easy shove to send him to the deck as he collided with Jake Townsend, one of the biggest hits of the tournament yesterday against Lindenwood.
Yeah, it probably was the biggest hit of the tournament until earlier today when we had that massive hit back in the Iowa State defensive zone.
That was Adam Wowrick on Justin Paulson. As here is Banser again. Shot is blocked away by Bolifer. Banser with some nice active stick movement. And Marcesili's shot was wide of the left post. It's Erickson. The flip along the far side half boards, intercepted by the Beavers. Shot on their side of center, but it's on goal, so no icing. It's Marcesili. Pressured by Metcalf, chipped out in front. Wacky bounce, quick shot there, and I think Sheldon blocked his own teammate's shot, number 93, Connor Navrat. A couple of Minot State sticks coming together. And now it is number 11, Hunter Dolan, knocked off the puck to the far side again. And it's number 93 in red. Navrat out of Martinsville, Saskatchewan, clearing it away, and now back up the ice. Metcalf tipped the puck in with 8:30 left in the second period. 2-1 Minot State over Iowa State.
Yeah, Minot State still controlling the pace, still controlling this game. If you're Iowa State, you need a lucky bounce, something to give you an odd man rush, try to get your team back in it.
Here could be one. Jared Erickson looking out in front for Lee. The backhander stopped by Bykowski as the net comes off its moorings. 11 minutes and 50 seconds into the second period. Baza Tavari is down at ice level.
I like that last rush by Iowa State. That's a good play right there. I think the other thing...
Face-off coming to the left of Josh Bykowski. So it's an offensive zone draw for Aaron Azevedo and the Cyclones. Jason Fairman's top three up front. 17, 28, and 7. Tony Uglum, top of your screen, held scoreless so far, but you can only keep him off the score sheet for as long as a couple of periods, it seems, with the way that he's been playing in this national tournament. He's got the puck on his stick right now. Uglum, right circle. Paulson keeps the puck into the blue line. Flip shot. Nobody home at the near side goal line. As Marcesili takes a tumble, or rather that was Colton Kramer. Now it's Uglum, left point for Paulson, and Hallbach firing through traffic off the stick of Sheshuk, and a tight angle drive coming by Kramer, and kept into the circle by Paulson.
I think Kramer was trying to bounce that puck off the back of Bykowski and score like that.
A bit of a roller hockey move as this is Paulson. That shot was knocked out of the air by Shane Sheshuk. He might have played baseball in high school or growing up, but what a play from number 61. That was 2 shot blocks with the shaft of his stick.
Yeah, just showing off that hand-eye coordination, and that was real impressive.
Swedlow wrap around in front, and that one missed as we get a whistle. Man, Joel Swedlow has been humming since he finally scored that first goal of the tournament. The stoppage, 12:42 into the second period as the net becomes dislodged. Let's take another closer look at Swedlow's chance.
Yeah, let's talk about Mosaic Law down on the other side. Bukowski getting ran into. Down at the other end, you look at the goaltender at Gedeke getting ran into. Kind of, you do something to us, we're going to attack the goalie the same way that you just did to us.
Minot State with the edge in the shots on goal, 14-12, and the score, 2-1. We're glad you joined us from the Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas. Tony Uglum charging towards the front of the net and a loose puck in the low slot, but Cody Longy clears the puck away for Minot, and now it's Jordan Robertson. Tight angle drive again on Gedeke, and the pass is cleared to the near side circle. And Grolum gets it out to the red line. Big hit there from Robertson on Hansen. Hansen, left circle, firing one, sticked away by Bykowski to the far side corner. Another tight angle shot, blocked out in front. And a far side board battle, kept in by Robertson, and now finally thrown out by number 68. This one will go as far as icing, and we get a whistle. 6:36 left in the second period.
This Minot State crew, you can see it in their body language, hunched over. This crew is starting to get tired right now. And if you're Iowa State, this could be that chance that you need to get some momentum back on your squad. Win this draw, hold it in your end, and keep Minot State from changing.
Goggin on the draw against Retlock. Close up of the two centermen on this chance. But it's flipped back to the right point. Kept in by Sandy. Sandy and Olsen this pair now. Sandy's shot was blocked away by the stick and into the protected netting. Jason Fairman switching up his defensive groups. Do you think it's a permanent change, Boz?
Yeah, I think Sandy, if he got that puck up a little bit, that's a tough save for Bykowski, as that far post, anything up over that leg pad is wide open. But a good scoring opportunity there for the Cyclones.
Fairman's club down 2-1. It looks like he's shuffled that top line as Marcicilli is now on with Hallbach. Bit of some in-game adjustments, something that Bill Belichick would smile at, of course. At the shot from Marcicilli. Now a whack chance from Sabo in the low slot. Stopped by Bykowski, number 9 in white, looking for his second goal of the game.
That was real close, and we see Marcicilli in that new D pair. That was where that play all started from. And sometimes when your team just isn't clicking the way you want it to, just change a little bit up, because they've been clicking, so you know that you're close if the adjustments have come off just a little bit. But maybe this is the unit that he needs. This is the D pairing that will lead them to the promised land.
Fournier wins the draw. Lipinski tied up along the goal line. He's able to whack it away to the far side. Fournier now for Carter and Wowrick. Top of your screen, a stop and start move. He fires, glove save, and a big rebound led up by Gedeke, something you don't often see for number 35 in white, but it's flipped ahead for Iowa State. Goggin, two Beavers draped all over him, but he's able to get the puck in, and Iowa State goes for a change.
Yeah, Iowa State getting their change in, getting those fresh legs on. So far for Iowa State, the best offensive series that they've had have been the Uglum line and the Sabo line. Outside of those lines, there's been no offense generated from this team whatsoever. If you're the coach of Iowa State, maybe you start short shifting those other two units.
Iowa State's depth certainly being called into question here. Under 5.5 to go in the second period. They're down a goal, and now a bad defensive zone turnover. Here's Navrat on the goal line, looking in front for Metcalf. Number 93 keeps the motor humming. Drops one for Metcalf, right circle. And below the goal line for Sheldon. Marcicilli draped all over him. And Erickson looking for an outlet. Killian tried to keep it in. And now Metcalf, right circle, through some bodies. The puck squirts free to the goal line, and Hunter Dolan skates around the net. And we'll be able to clear the puck out for the Cyclones just by racing up the ice. Look at the speed from number 11. As he races around Killian and backhands one of the far side by Iowa State's changing. Minot State looking for a too many men on the ice call, but it was a legal change from the guys in white.
Yeah, I've talked about how these are two teams that thrive off the forecheck, and so far Minot State's forecheck has simply been way more effective, forcing more turnovers than Iowa State's forecheck by far, and right now that's the reason Minot's up in this game.
A lot of these games, the playoffs, the national championship, won in the neutral zone, and you've seen easier penetration from Minot State. And it is for the Cyclones. As there's an example of it, Joel Swedlow trying to dangle through three. He gets knocked down. No call from the near side official or the back official. It looked like he had just lost an edge, but a nice individual rush. Number 74 looking like the tournament MVP of the game right now, as this is Azevedo. Right circle, stepping in, firing. The shot was blocked. Rebound to the side of the crease, and Uglum was unable to capture that one with his backhand. 2-on-1 rush possibly. Late man coming on for Iowa State. It's Robertson with a drive, going wide. Gedeke gloves it anyway. 16:06 into the second period. 2-1 Beavers.
Yeah, as Uglum was getting that chance there on the back door, I believe it was Paul O'Connor. I didn't get a great look, but I'm pretty certain it was O'Connor. Ties up his stick. He can't get the stick down on the ice, can't touch the puck, and because of that, that's the only reason this game's not even at 2 apiece right now.
As you take another look, the chance upcoming. As here's a face-off won by the Beavers. Cody Longy behind the goal for Rhett Locke. Locke, pressured by Alcott. He's going to try and roll off. And Alcott steals away the puck from him. To the far side it goes. Hansen was unable to clear it. A bit of a lull here in this offensive shift for Minot State. Johnson trying to hack and whack to the side of the goal. Rhett Locke looking out for Johnson. He had a wide open left side, but he just skied it over the glove of Gedeke and met the glass.
Yeah, Johnson with
Johnson
another.
kept cropping over. I mean, just from the back end, just on that back end, and just missed a wide open net on that far post.
Dylan Johnson, when he gets in those high percentage areas, he may not have a goal in the tournament, but 13 goals and 35 regular season games. But he's parked himself right outside that blue paint, and he's been rewarded for it.
Well, the thing is, Johnson's so big, you can't move him once he parks himself there. He just sits there and says, I dare you to try and push me out the way because I'm going to pull the trigger.
Fournier loses the draw. Alcott doing very well in this second half of the second period for Iowa State. So you want to talk about the bottom 6 possibly for Jason Fairman's club. Look at the line of Grolum, Alcott, and Hansen. A couple of men go down in the far side corner. Bancer at the puck, skip over his stick, and it's lofted back in by Minot State on their side of center. It was a delayed offside, and now it's an icing. 16:58 into the second period. We're glad you joined us. Cristiano Simonetta with you right now. Quinn Kuski alongside. Baza Jabari, it's down at ice level. Boys, it's been a fun one. It's a tightly contested one, and not a lot of goals going past 2 of the best goaltenders of the tournament.
So you asked me at the end of 1 what my bold prediction was. I said Swedlow first and Uglum second. If Uglum scores a goal here before the end of this period and draws this thing even, I'm going and buying a lottery ticket tonight after the game.
Certainly breaking out the crystal ball, aren't you, Quinn Kuski? Now, driving along the goal line. It's Carter. To the right point now, Lipinski. That pass took an awkward carom off the stanchion, and now racing up ahead, Trevor Sabo. Puck hopped over his twig and recovered by Lipinski with a head of steam. Look at him, top of your screen. Will dump the puck in. End-to-end rush from number 59, who goes off for a change.
Tell you what, Lipinski, he wants this.
Backhander to the crease area and smothered again by Gedeke. A whistle, 17:36 into the second period. It looks like Minot State, they're trying to drive and go low on Gedeke after going high on him in the first period.
They are, and back to my previous point there before the chance for Minot, Lipinski wants this game. He wants this championship. He watched both of his brothers leave this team without the championship, and now this is his chance, maybe rub a ring in his brothers' faces.
Yeah, to your point, Lipinski, I mean, he had a couple of brothers and family that played here. I mean, I know he wants to do it because of that family history here. We got to look out down here every once in a while, but you know it's going to mean a lot, especially the opportunities that Minot has had in these tournaments and still hasn't cashed in on.
Kyle Lipinski, of course, brothers Lyndon and Bryce were excellent for Minot State in the tournament last year, but stopped by a hot goaltender and a great defense, and David Heflin and the Fighting Illini. Minot State gets their revenge on Illinois in the round of 16 as we get an icing, 2:01 left in the second.
Yeah, this has almost felt like the revenge tour for Minot State. Every team that's been better than them in previous tournaments, they've knocked off. Now they have one last stop here with Iowa State, and so far things are looking good.
Hallbach wraps one around the far side half-boards for Aaron Azevedo. But he was pickpocketed quickly, and Kramer does the same thing to Killian before going down. Azevedo goes skate the stick, great pass for Uglum, quick trigger, and a nice stop there by Bykowski. We thought that one was headed for the twine.
Caught the inside of the blocker. That's why Karen back towards that, I guess, the right side corner from the way I'm looking. Got a different vantage point from you guys up there.
And Tony Uglum doesn't need a lot of space or a lot of time to let that go, but Bykowski beat him clean. With 1:23 left in the second period, it's Uglum's number called again. That shot off the goalpost from a bad angle. Oh, he beat Bykowski this time, blocker side, but it rang the pipe. Longy through his own circles, rushing now for Minot State. A close chance at one end as we get an icing at the other. 18 minutes and 5 seconds into the second.
Goal scorer's worst nightmare. That post, if this is the difference in the game, you take a look at the shot, that is a sound that's going to ring for years in that nightmare in this type of game. Iowa State still, though, with about 21 minutes left to get that equalizing goal.
We're not out of the second period just yet, as you'll hear public address announcer Andy Storrs announce. And here we go, closing in on the final minute of the second. Nick Sandy takes out the sand wedge and flips one into the offensive zone for Iowa State. To no avail, though, as Foreman goes across for Longy, and now for Sheshak. Shane Sheshak, good pass for Gatos. Top of your screen, gains the red line, dumps the puck in. Gedeke out to play it with the backhanded paddle of his stick to the far side. Hansen couldn't get it out, though. Dylan Johnson for Gatos, 32 seconds left in the second period. For Robertson, the left-handed winger to the right side. Longy fakes a slap shot, now will pull the trigger, and that shot will be deflected and out of play. 23.1 left in the second period, 2-1 Minot State.
Right now, for both of these teams, you got 23.1 left. That's plenty of time to still get a quality opportunity. If you're Minot, you want to win this draw, and you don't want it to come back out of your zone.
Yeah, I think if you're Iowa State, though, just looking at this period, I think they've done a good job of just grinding these shifts out throughout, ever since they gave up that second goal. I think right now, if you're Iowa State, you have to appreciate the effort of all four lines. I think like offensive zone time, as you mentioned, Quinn, it's come from two lines, but the other two lines, they're doing a good job of keeping us a one-goal deficit.
Down to 10 seconds left in the second period. 5 men digging for it along that far side corner. 5 seconds ago, you get a close-up view of it there, and that shot will end the second period. So a bit of a lackadaisical, anticlimactic way to end the second period, but that middle frame was filled with offense, so there were some chances, and included 1 goal scored by Joel Swedlow from the Beavers.
Yeah, Swedlow ripped that monkey off its back, and he threw it clean out of Frisco, Texas. He's done with that. He finally gets his goal, and he continued to click throughout that period. And Uglum, you got to feel bad for him. So many quality chances, had 2 great ones on the same shift and just couldn't quite put it home.
You were close in that second period bold prediction. You got one side correct. So we'll take your word for it now into this third period. What are you seeing, Quinn Kuski?
Well, if you're Uglum, I feel like it's coming, but it's not going to come in the form of a goal. It's going to be an assist. Azevedo, he'll draw this game even, and we'll go to overtime tied at 2.
It's 2-1 after 40 minutes of play. Just stay with us. It'll be the ACHA Intermission Report on the ACHA Network. You are watching the 2019 ACHA National Championships.
Baron Championship rings. Divisional ring.
You know the answer. You studied for this. Come on. Timmy! Come on, Timmy. You got this, son. Pencil to paper. Focus. Come on, Timmy. Focus. Focus. Take the puck. There you go. Skate. Skate. Pass it. You call that a pass? What are you doing? You missed the puck. Come on.
It's definitely a big deal. The next 4 years of my life will determine my future. I'm gonna need an education to do what I want to do. But I want more. I want the best I can get, and I'm ready to work hard for it. That's why I'm choosing Minot State University. Minot State University. Be seen, be heard, belong.
Skating was hard at first. Sometimes I fell, but I always got back up. Now when I'm skating, I feel like a rocket, or maybe a race car. Something really fast. It's my second favorite feeling. Scoring is my favorite. I think I like it even more than birthday cake.
Iowa State was the place where Derek began his adventure.
Derek was one of the first students in the industrial design program.
Our apartment together was a design studio. A light bulb went off one day. I think he thought, I can design sneakers.
Derek's first study abroad experience, in fact, was in Rome.
He was able to go to London.
Did an internship in Germany.
Internship in New York City.
He designed in Chicago, and now he's on his way to design in California.
To see the excitement in Derek's face when he was moving to California is amazing. For Derek, it's a dream come true.
Enjoy your adventure at Iowa State. Visit ChooseYourAdventure.net.
You ready? This guy's not ready. You're not ready. Let's go!
Hockey heads are special, which is why we protect them with a helmet designed, built, and tested to endure real-world hockey impacts.
It took less than a minute, but 45 seconds in, Minot State tacks on the go-ahead goal. They lead Iowa State 2-1 through 40 minutes, 20 minutes away from what could be their second national championship. Glad you can join us. Casey Roll alongside Thomas Biondo on the ACHA second period intermission report. TB, we went to break after the first intermission talking about what has to happen for either team to get on the board to take the lead. Minot State did it in different conventions than what we thought they'd do it. What was your takeaway from the first 45 seconds?
You know, it was a great play, just crashing the net, which is, when we talked about it, it was very interesting because the Bouchard goal that we talked about in the intermission, in the first intermission, looked like the exact same goal, where there was a collision, a little bit of a bump with the goaltender on the first guy skating by, open net, Bouchard puts it in, okay, no harm, no foul. It looked like that same kind of thing where I missed the player who first made contact with the netminder. That left Swedlow alone in front of the net, pokes it in. All right, they review it. This one, good goal, and Minot gets the lead.
For reference, Kevin Bouchard yesterday, a member of the University of Michigan Dearborn hockey team who scored what could have been their second goal of the game. It was waved off after an extended video replay, and the day afterwards, it goes against Iowa State, which in turn has put Minot State on top 2-1. The goal for Swedlow was his first of the playoffs. Season for Joel Swedlow, a career best 14 goals in the regular season, so it takes the championship for the junior out of Portage Lake Prairie, Manitoba, to get on the scoreboard in the championship game. But Thomas, Matt Godicke still has been impressive in net, but it's just been Joshua Bykowski, the backup to start the national tournament, who's arguably been the tournament's MVP.
I wouldn't be surprised if he is. If Minot can win this last period, I think he has to be. And the funny thing, and I think he should get credit for coming in cold. Like Everts went out in the middle of a game. He didn't have a time to prep. I mean, it was okay. He's out. All right, he's going in and drop the puck, go. And sure enough, he's just been outstanding. Although again, his men in front of him, his five-man unit in front of him, and I mean five-man unit, not defenseman. His five-man unit in front of him has been just fantastic. You know, we noticed a couple times during the game, Iowa State would try a long stretch pass, and it was after a turnover, or you know, Minot would be pinned deep. So Iowa State would get the stretch pass, and there were still 3 Beavers back around them. It's like there's 7 of them on the ice defensively, and when you do have the lead, like as they do, it's tough to see them giving that lead up.
As our own Quinn Kuski would say, the Beavers are building a dam around Bykowski and net, so that's how Minot.
Really? You did it too? You went with the
You know, we're both 20 years old. It's our time to use off-centered cliches, so I'm going to take my chance to use it.
All
but
right, that's fine.
Thomas, I want to point out something else to. I want to point out something else to you defensively, and it's something that we saw 14 minutes into the period. Iowa State had one shot on goal.
And that, I mean, that just goes back to what I said a moment ago. Now, to their credit, you're right. They picked it up in the end. They were 4 shots in after that mark, a couple of 3 or 4 good scoring chances. So that's what they need to continue to do to get the offense going and hopefully get the equalizer.
One shot on goal through 14 minutes, the least amount Iowa State has had in that span in this tournament. So through 40 minutes, Minot State looks for their second national championship, 20 minutes away. But first, we send it to break. When we return, a further analysis and in-depth coverage of our second period intermission report here on the ACHA Network.
There are a few things that come along that change the course of history. Inventions or developments that reshape society. They usually aren't appreciated at first. In fact, they're often scoffed at. What good will that be?
Hello? Hi.
Surely that can't be practical.
She loves to see you.
But then, slowly, over time, the greatness of these achievements become manifest.
Hi!
Until one day, you ask yourself how you ever lived without them. That's the nature of turning points. They bring us to new roads and new heights. They open doors we never thought possible. So it's important that we go forward together.
I'm here with Gina.
That our growth might not just benefit the great, but the good also. In small ways, and in grand ones.
Dad.
The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little.
At Wilson Electronics, we push every day to amplify the power of communication, to connect those who love and those who cannot live without it.
Back in Frisco, welcome back to the 2019 ACHA Division I's Men's National Championship second period intermission report. It's always nice to have special guests on air, especially on live broadcasts, but this is a little bit different. It's my pleasure to welcome the Men's Division I Vice President, Gordy Scheffler, onto the second period intermission report. Gordy, I must tell you, my man, you look like the most well-rested person in the building and honestly, these last 6 days must have been very hectic for you.
Yeah, it's been a crazy few days here, but we've gotten through it, with boards issues, glass issues, some ice issues, and everything in between, but that's what happens at a tournament, and we got it handled, I feel, in a good amount of time to take care of.
There have been a lot of local celebrities that have been popularized through this tournament. There was a gif of a sledgehammer man being made in day 3. Obviously, you have some acclaim with the local audience as well, slipping and sliding across the ice. Just out of curiosity, when did you start that?
I've been doing that for years. I've worked in a rink for a long time. It's actually the curling shuffle that you use when you're curling.
Were you a part of the curling team at any point?
I do curl from time to time back at home. Yes.
I must be honest, I jumped on the bandwagon after the Winter Olympics when it came to curling. I was not a huge fan beforehand, but the Olympics got me onto that gift. So I must say, very, very much appreciated. But talking about this Division I Men's National Championship, we had a stat which was distributed by our own AJ Bolden through 3 days of the Division I Championships. Over 1 million minutes of hockey watched through 3 days. How has this broadcast and how has the national attention to the Division I championships really changed from year one of your acclaim to year two?
You know, I've been watching the tournament for a long time, and the things that have gone on and the way it's progressed over the years is really night and day from even 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, and year to year. Last year in Columbus, it was awesome. You know, we really did a good job, and this year I think we've taken it to another level, and I feel like our viewership is really growing, and the teams, their home fans are all watching. I've heard there have been a few teams that have had watch parties back at home at local bars and such, so that's really huge for us going forward as an organization.
If there's one thing that sticks out to you specifically about the way that the broadcast carried last year in Columbus to this year in Dallas, what would that be?
Oh man, just the staff and how everybody's on board to do whatever it takes to make it happen and make it is what it is, and they want to make it better every time they're out there, and it's really showed. And we've gotten a lot of great feedback, whether it's via Twitter or through the YouTube channel, and even people here that watch it back at the hotel. I've heard a lot of the guys go back and watch it when they got done with their game.
Well, I've had a lot of conversations with some of our on-air personalities off camera. Does it feel like we're 6 days in right now? Does it feel like we're at the end of the Division I men's tournament?
I can honestly say yes, it does. Last game of the year, finally, those first 4 days with 4 games a day, it's a little hectic, long days, but we made it through without too much going on, and we're ready to crown a national champion.
Basketball has March Madness going on right now. I challenge them to try to match the madness that we've had in Frisco right now. Madness in the Lone Star State at the Comerica Center here in Frisco. But I know it's a long ways away, especially with the men's Division I tournament set for its last 20 minutes, potentially. Don't want to jinx it, last 20, potentially. But looking forward to 2020, what are some things that you'd like to see possibly improve with the men's D1 tournament?
Oh, man, there's always little room for improvement. We'd like to get the broadcast even more exposure, make sure we have our teams ready to go, and hopefully the building and everything, we got all the bugs worked out for next season.
Well, Gordy, it's been a pleasure having you on. We wish you the best of luck throughout the rest of the season and for next season as we get ready for 2020.
Appreciate it.
Gordy Scheffler, the ACHA Division I Men's Vice President, joining us right here on the 2019 ACHA Men's Division I Second Period Intermission Report. Casey Roll with you as well. We set it now back to our broadcast team, who are very familiar with Division I hockey, Cristiano Simonetta and Quinn Kuski.
Thank you, Casey. Hi, everybody. Cristiano Simonetta joined alongside by Quinn Kuski. This is going to be a fun one, Quinn. Minot State up 2-1 over the Iowa State Cyclones. The Beavers 20 minutes away from a national championship. It will be their second in program history. But for Iowa State, though, this 2-1 deficit being down at all, trailing throughout the tournament, it's a position where they've been in the earlier stages of the national tournament.
Yeah, Iowa State, they led off with the first game with a 4-0 victory against Stony Brook. That was just pure and utter domination. Then they come out against Ohio, and the biggest question that I had for them when they played Ohio was, can they play from behind? And they proved to me that they can. Going down 1-0 early, ties it up at 1 apiece. Down 2-1, they tie it up at 2 apiece, and then they immediately early in the third, they go up 3-2, and that was Uglum, Azevedo, Uglum again. That was the unit for them that's been getting it done. Then Sandy with a goal in the third period against Michigan Dearborn to draw that game even and push that one to overtime. We had took 2 overtimes to finally get the game-winning goal, but Iowa State proving they can play from behind, and it's not a situation that they're foreign to.
So if you're trying to beat Josh Bykowski in this third period, you're Jason Fairman. What offensive game plan are you drawing up? Do you need more bodies in front of the net, sticks in lanes? Because it seems like the clear shots, unless they're being taken by number 7, Tony Uglum, they're not beating him so far.
I was going to say, there's the offense you draw up. It's Tony Uglum. Just throw him on the ice and let him take as many shots as you can get, and that's probably going to be your best bet is Uglum and Azevedo. Those have been your guys the entire tournament. This is obviously not the time to turn away from them. Those two guys are clicking, firing on all cylinders, and if you're not going to get it from the two of them, maybe C.J. Banser. He's looked good in this game. And you also have your guys that you know that they're never going to give up on a play. Erickson and Grolum, those two guys could be the ones as well.
I thought Jackson Grolum had a heck of that second period. So now if you're Wade Regere's team, do you go full conservative? Do you park the bus to start this third period, or do you come out firing on all cylinders knowing you can put the pressure back on Iowa State with another early goal like they had in that second period?
Well, the Iowa State Cyclones, they have not given up more than 2 goals in a single game this tournament, and they've scored 3 or more in every single game in this tournament, obviously. But this is a unit that's firing. They're getting the job done. You cannot settle at 2. That's simply not going to be enough to beat Iowa State. If you're Minot, if you get one more early, that could just put the nail in the coffin and take the soul out of these Cyclones.
We saw an early goal in that second period. It was Joel Swedlow, 45 seconds into the middle frame, as Minot State and Iowa State pour out onto the ice at Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas. It's the 2019 ACHA Men's Division I National Championship presented by the ACHA Network. If you're just joining us, Cristiano Simonetta, Quinn Kuski alongside, Boza Javari down at ice level as you get a shot at Josh Bykowski. He's going to need to be the guy like he has been throughout this tournament. But for guys like Kurt Hallbach, they're going to have to keep Minot off the scoreboard and maybe get involved in the rush a little bit more. Iowa State, their blue liners, haven't been as sharp when it comes to getting shots through.
Yeah, and the biggest concern if you're Iowa State, while yes, you want to have more offense and you want those defensemen to help, you have to fear the counterattack at the same time. You get too invested with trying to get a goal, that's a really quick way to give up a goal.
Iowa State going left to right, Minot State right to left. Will this be the final frame? It is the final frame of regulation, but will we need more than 3 periods? We're about to solve that right now. And here come the Beavers. Dylan Gatos, pass, escapes Shane Sheshuk, and goes down the ice. The official with a bit of some interference on Kurt Hallbach, but to the Beavers' gain, and a nice power move to the front of the net. Diffused there by Azevedo. And the puck behind the goal again. Max Olson along the end boards. Loses his footing momentarily. Azevedo lost the puck to Gatos, who twirls one in below the goal line, takes an awkward carom off the boards along the far side corner. A fortuitous one for Iowa State. They'll regroup 42 seconds into the third.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of awkward bounces off the boards in this game and in this whole tournament, and I doubt they're going to stop now. So if you're a player on the ice, you know that you're not going to get a bounce that you're used to. It's not a guaranteed thing, so you got to be ready for anything.
Follow the bouncing puck in the offensive zone right on cue. It hasn't been just the boards, but the crazy caroms along the ice surface as Paul O'Connor whacks one right in front of Boza Javari, our man in between the benches. As it goes down low now for Nick Sandy. Behind his cage, the pass for Trevor Sabo escaped him, and O'Connor rattles the puck back in for Minot. An uneventful 1:18 into the third period. Shots are 18-16 in favor of Minot State. We haven't had a shot on goal in the third period just yet. As the Cyclones attempt to win the board battle, but it's flipped off the high glass and down the ice. Nice play from Fournier, as it is Justin Paulson, who was railroaded by Adam Wowrick in that second period. But here he goes with some speed. Easy shot sticked away by Bykowski. Alcott looking for it, searching for it, but now it's Paul O'Connor for a wide open Drew Carter, bottom of your screen along the right circle.
You know, we were talking about the lack of effectiveness of the third and fourth lines of forwards with Iowa State, really just those first and second lines producing the offense for the team. Maybe that's what they need. Paulson pinching in there and leading the rush as a defenseman. Maybe that's what they need to get some offense out of other than a line other than the first two.
Azevedo will go down the right circle. And that shot, it was an easy save for Bykowski, but he poked out a big rebound. We'll get a stoppage though. 2:18 into the third period. Let's go downstairs with Boz.
That's one of the things if you're Iowa State, that Bykowski's been giving up big rebound. Skaters up there, get your stick on the ice, and maybe you could flick one home.
Face off to the left of Bykowski, right circle on your screen, as this is Cody Longy behind the goal for Foreman. And Uglum pouncing on that loose puck, as his centering feed was off the mark. And Joel Swedlow. If this score stays the same way after 60 minutes, number 74 will have the GWG. It's his only goal of the national tournament so far. And this one will be flipped out of play near public address announcer Andy Storrs, who was unscathed after that one. Will get a whistle. 2:40 into the third.
Yeah, and if you look right now, Iowa State, they've got that top line on. They've got the Uglum-Azevedo line going, and I would expect them to play for at least 8 or 9 minutes, maybe more in this third period. They'll hop off for like 30 seconds and get right back on the ice.
Lock on the draw against Azevedo. Won by number 17 in white. Kramer with a bad turnover. Lock. A shot. Johnson out in front. And that was patted away by Gedeke. Far side for Bolifer. And now that pass is intercepted by Olsen for Tony Uglum. the senior forward. His pass was knocked down. And that's an example of the way Minot State has been able to take away rushes for Iowa State out of their own zone. No easy defensive zone exit. We always talk about simple offensive zone exits, or rather entries. But Iowa State, they can't seem to even get it out of their own blue line and into neutral ice.
And it's that forecheck that we've been talking about all game. Minot's not going to make any part of the ice an easy part to move the puck through, and they're showing that in this one. Trevor
Sabo, the Cyclones' lone goal scorer, flips one, and that one is snagged by Bykowski. 3:28 into the third period.
Almost to your point, Quinn. I mean, that it's almost reminiscent of period number 1 with Minot State. I know Iowa State got one, but I mean, this is exactly the way that Iowa State kind of had trouble breaking something going if just go against Minot.
Goggin tied up on the draw, but it's now for Killian. Chipped away to the near side corner where Banser and Navrat come together, and Sheldon dishes out a hit. But Sabo stopping and starting along the goal line. Trickling one out in front, and Nick Sandy's going to pinch it at the right circle. He'll have some space. Tight angle drive up the stick of Bykowski, and fought for by the Cyclones. Sabo along the hash marks, as that pass was knocked into the air and onto the stick of Sheldon. Sandy kept the puck in, rattling along the stanchion and the end boards, where it comes free for Killian, 4 minutes into the third period. O'Connor at his own goal line will throw it all the way down and misses Gedeke, so this one will be icing. 4 minutes and 8 seconds in the third period. Minot feeling some pressure, Quinn, and now it's a matter of whether they can withstand the rush from the Cyclones.
Yeah, Minot feeling some pressure, but if you're Iowa State, you're feeling those demons creep back in. This is your third trip to the title game in this decade. You're 0 for 2, and you're starting to be like, oh no, not again.
And you've lost 4 straight. 1 and 4 in the national championship game is a big hit by Sheldon. Draws a late arm up from the official. It's going to be a boarding call. 4 minutes and 17 seconds into the third period. It'll be a chance for the Cyclones to tie up the game.
Not a smart move there by the Minot State Beavers, and that's a bad penalty to take. Right now, Iowa State looking for a way to get back in. I know the penalty kill for Minot State's been like absolutely tremendous, but if you're Iowa State, this is your opportunity to get back in, even up the goal, and get your best players involved with this.
Iowa State had 2 chances against Michigan Dearborn. Nada. They had 2 chances against this team right now as a cross-ice feed looking for Uglin was deflected away. Cyclones 0 for 2 so far in the national championship as Bullifer rung one of the near side. Can Sandy hold it in? He does. A nice play from the captain. Puck below the goal line. Lipinski battering out to the far side. An attempted clear from Carter was knocked down. Iowa State with some life possibly. Olsen's shot deflected into the protective netting by Drew Carter, the MO for Minot State so far in this PK. Get pucks and sticks in lanes.
Yeah, good. It's not a smart play with that much room in front of the boards, especially when that player's back right to you. Normally in youth hockey, you see that big old stop sign letting you know to, hey, don't hit me, man.
Azevedo curls to the far corner. Kramer, his pass knocked away, and Swedlow slaps it down from the right circle. 1 minute and 17 seconds left on Iowa State's third man advantage of the night.
Something interesting, Iowa State seems content to leave these same players on the ice for the full 2 minutes. No change there at about the halfway point of the power play.
It again speaks to the confidence of Jason Fairman in this group, or a lack thereof, of the second power play grouping. And now a quick chance, but a nice solid body check there by Dylan Gatos. Frees to the puck. Wowrick looking right circle. His shot was knocked away by Hallback. And now back for number 24.
Should be noted, Hallback just got on the ice.
So there you go, switching up some personnel, especially on the back end as they go for a full sail change. A minute 17 into the power play. Here comes the second group for the Cyclones as Erickson gains the red line. Cross corner, now tip flex, rebound try for Uglin. The puck is still in the crease. Whack down the left pad. It's loose. Where is it? It's fired to the near side corner. Bykowski finally got a pad on it on that second try. He did a snow angel in the crease. We get a whistle. 5:49 into the third period. 28 seconds left in the power play.
What was such a harmless dump in suddenly develops into absolute chaos as we're getting another look at it here. Just a dump in from the red line, and it pops out in front right onto the backhand of Grolum, and it just winds up being a melting pot in the blue paint of sticks and players trying to jab that puck in, and eventually the net comes off.
Almost reminiscent of CDOT when they were playing Liberty in the quarterfinals. That goal scored from about 195 feet out.
Goggin down low for Sabo. Up top for Hallback. Far side hash marks off the stick of Sabo and sent down by Reese Foreman. One last rush for the Cyclones. Stretch pass for Graham. And now Sabo for Erickson. Dipping and diving his way along the goal line. 5 seconds left in the power play. One last shot maybe for Iowa State. Nice move by Sabo. Inside out to the backhand. That shot was cleared away behind the goal. And now Azevedo. We're back to 5-on-5. Azevedo, a tight angle drive. That one again, paddled behind the goal. Hallback, left circle, down low for Graham. Jackson Graham, the shot was blocked away, and look out. Could be a 3-on-2 rush for Minot State. Left wing side, it's Carter. Looking to flip one out in front, and Azevedo late on his shift. But he's going to gain the blue line, red line, and hopefully opposite blue line, and he will. Right circle, forehand, backhand, saucer feed to the front of the net, and they're just throwing the kitchen sink now. Back door, Sandy out in front. Oh, what a move from Azevedo. Rebound try. Oh, what a left glove save. Wow, the desperation from Bykowski. Another snow angel, and the puck stayed out. Lipinski, other way, right circle, fires into the chest of Gedeke, but he let up a juicy rebound, and end-to-end action we go. Buckle your seatbelts. Dylan Goggin going wide. Stopping up. The puck skittered away from his stick and fired down the ice by Minot State. This will be icing unless Walwork wins the race. He tries to dive for it, but Sandy reaches the hash marks. We're probably going to take a look at that recent chance when the Cyclones ever so close to tying the game.
Yeah, here it is, just right out in front. It just gets a piece of that left glove of Bykowski. Snow angeled out on the ice. He makes the stop. And another thing I want to talk about, the near 3-on-2 rush. The way the Cyclones prevented that from being an odd man, they had a man get on the bench at the very start of the bench, and they had their defender hop off at the back of it, gaining about 50 feet and allowing them to stop that odd man.
12:33 left in the third period. 2-1 Beavers over the Cyclones. Shots 23 for Iowa State. Minot State 19. So already 7 shots, which is 2 more than Iowa State had in the entire second period they've amassed in the first 7:49 of the third. And if you're Minot State here, you got to be able to get the puck out. You can't be sloppy in your own zone, especially when you're trying to hit the weak side, man, because they haven't been able to clear it.
You can't be sloppy against either one of these teams. They will not hesitate to force a turnover in their own offensive end. And the second they force that turnover, these are two teams that tend to capitalize on them. So you can't make mistakes against either one of these clubs.
Longy at his own blue line. 2-line pass will go nowhere except for down the ice. We get an icing, 8:20 into the third period.
Yeah, I thought that puck had maybe taken a deflection on its way down. Refs definitely have a better vantage point than I do. I'm going to assume they got it right there. Must have just barely missed, and we have an icing.
Face off
yeah,
to the right of
definitely did touch
Bykowski.
the puck over there.
Azevedo tried to win it through the centerman Sheshuk. Number 17 has it again behind the goal. 61 in red, 17 in white. Now it's Cody Longy and Colton Kramer. Longy takes a tumble, some sticks tied up around the legs. The referees hold their whistles. Let the boys play here along the half boards as the puck is scattered to the far side half boards. And now, flied off the high glass. It's going to be played by Azevedo. Maybe a 3-on-2 rush. A bad change from Minot State. Uglum, Kramer looking backdoor for Uglum. The pass was too far behind him. 8 minutes and 54 seconds into the third.
Yeah, that right there was feeling very reminiscent of the opening goal for Minot State. Right off a bad change, led to an odd man rush, but Minot's defenders able to bail him out.
Gatos has a man open right wing side. It's Swedlow looking for goal number 2, and that one is gobbled up by the chest of number 35, Matt Gedeke. 10:48 left in the third period. We're going to get immediate timeout. It's just getting good, folks. You are watching the 2019 ACHA National Championships presented by the ACHA Network.
The 2019 ACHA National Championships are brought to you by Budget Car Rental, the preferred rental agency of the ACHA. Hogan Transportation, official tournament partners of the 2019 ACHA National Championships. Edge Protect, protecting goalie skate blades since 2004 and official sponsor of the 2019 ACHA National Championships.
America Center in Frisco, Texas. The Minot State Beavers ranked 6th, up 2-1 over the number 5 ranked Iowa State Cyclones. Cristiano Simnetta with you, Quinn Kuski alongside. Baza Javari, you were down at ice level, and you still are, listening to both coaches talking throughout that media timeout. Did you get an ear in at all?
Yeah, I got to hear Minot State. I mean, that's on the open end. The Iowa State kind of side of the bench is a little cut off by glass, but Minot State, their head coach, it really pleased with the way that they're playing defensively, and they're just looking to keep that pressure up right now. They're about 10 and a half minutes away from winning a national championship, and they're really starting to feel it, but he wants to make sure his team plays really composed through this last 10 minutes.
Goggin up for Banser. A shot again, Quinn. A low percentage area from outside the circles, and Bykowski can't corral that initial drive, but he jumped on the rebound as Iowa State was changing. 9:44 into the third.
If you're Iowa State right now, just start crashing players at the net. It doesn't matter. If you see a lane, throw it on and follow your shots. That's all that this is at this point.
And that's what they've been doing. Every time they've been around that goal line area, as Rhett Locke's going to take it away for Minot and clear it the length of the ice. This will be no icing, as it just doesn't reach that goal line in time, as Kurt Hallback feeling some pressure from the third line of Dylan Johnson, Rhett Locke, and Jordan Robertson for Wader Gears Club. Olsen taken down. Hallback trying to recover the puck for his fallen D-man for Jackson Grollam. He couldn't handle the pass along the blue line. Now it's Olsen to the far side, Hallback. And jumping all over that puck is going to be Davis Sheldon. And now Navrat deking his way through to the goal line. But Alcott with a good play. He's checked into the boards, but lofted back out to center, where it's recovered by Kyle Lipinski. Minot maybe on the attack. Goal line shot. The outside of the blocker of Gedeke into the right point. Bolifer will double back into the neutral zone. 9:20 left in the third period. Minot up 2-1.
Yeah, Lipinski, he's got 3 goals in this tournament, only had 1 in the regular season, and that kind of performance, I mean, you can see it right there with just the wheels.
One-timer out in front. Kramer blocked, though, by Bola for a nice pass from Azevedo. Marcicilli, now left circle. Floating drive coming from Kramer. Never got to the intended target, as this will be a hand pass. 11:02 into the third period. We got a glimpse of what that top line can do. Aaron Azevedo, Tony Uglum, as well as Colton Kramer. A nice 3-way passing play, but Bolifer doing what he did last game in the semifinals, just getting in front of every shot he possibly can.
Yeah, that seems to be Minot State's go-to right now, is they're just going to do everything they can to block it all, because Iowa State's getting the opportunities, but the shots aren't getting through.
Sheldon gains the red line, only gets it as far as the Cyclones' blue line. And backhanded aside by Longy. Sandy over to Marcicilli. So they've reunited that top pair of Jory Marcicilli as well as Nick Sandy as the puck trickles on the cage. Bykowski takes a whistle. 8:41 left in the third period. So the pushback from Minot State after that charge from Iowa State, and now the Cyclones, the ice seems to be teetering back into Bykowski's end. If you're Minot State, what's the agenda looking like for you defensively? You start to just gain that red line and clear it down, or just not yet? You're going to try for some more offense.
If you're Minot State, you just got to brave this storm from the Cyclones and hold on, and hopefully that ice tips back the other way eventually.
Banser along the far side corner, comes away with it, looking to wrap around, but a good play from Bykowski, pressing that left pad against the post, another whistle.
Yeah, just the feeling on the bench right now, you could tell that Iowa State's bench, they're really composed, really calm right now. They know they're pretty close to breaking one through. They know they keep working hard. They get that equalizing goal. Remember, they got a couple late yesterday to get to this game right now, and they know that they can do it again. You can see it on all their faces, very calm, appreciating that last shot right now, because they know that Bykowski's giving up a lot of rebounds, and they're pretty close to solving him.
Paulson with a drive from the deep slot off that Minot State Beavers logo of Bykowski, and another offensive zone faceoff for Iowa State. They fired 26 shots Bykowski's way, and number 39 in red has stopped 25. Carter on the hash marks as Minot State goes to work on the cycle. Fournier, who got the scoring started for his team, and what a goal it was. One of the easiest goals he'll score in the tournament. But a great pass from Adam Wowrick, and it was banged home by number 12. Lipinski, far side Bolifer at his own blue line, tipped in by number 14 Wowrick. A side of the goal, 7:50 left in the third period. And to Boz's point, Quinn, Minot State really is looking methodical. They're not looking like they're getting too high in this game and understanding the seriousness of it. The fact that they're 7:37 away from a national championship, this is tipped out in front, and Bykowski shuts the door once again. As we talk about last year's semifinal game, Minot State, the #1 team in the country, playing #5 Illinois, and they scored that first goal in that game. And it was Fournier again who got the scoring started. And you saw Minot State, they had some swagger, they had some confidence, but Illinois responded with 2 quick goals in that second period, and Minot State was unable to get the lead back after that.
Well, it's been the story for Minot State. Come in as a very high seed and just wind up not being able to make it to the title game. So now that you're finally here, you kind of want all the talking that's going on about your team, saying that they don't, that, you know, the scheduling's not difficult enough. They're walking into easy teams. They're not ready for these challenging games in the tournament. You trying to prove all that talk wrong, and you do it right here by hoisting the Murdoch Trophy.
And an icing to come. 12:46 into the third period. You look at the other side, Quinn. Iowa State, a team that plays in the Central States Collegiate Hockey League against teams like Illinois, Ohio, Lindenwood, Robert Morris. So they're used to being thrown into the fire in the regular season. Some games that mean a lot, even if they're in the months of September, October, November. They find themselves here down 2-1.
Yeah, Iowa State they don't really get to play very many cakewalk games, and that helps them when it comes to this tournament. But apparently the only place that hasn't helped them is the championship game.
And a alley-oop pass, Uglum, I believe was offside. It would have been an icing anyway. The same result occurs. It's going to be another offensive zone face-off for the Beavers. Boz is down at ice level.
To your point that you guys are talking about, team, I think have to do is look at Arizona State University. They used to be a major force here in Division I, played an independent schedule, ended up going to the NCAA playing Division I. Right now they're in the Frozen Four tournament as an independent team, which is kind of remarkable considering that there's no conferences out west, outside west of the Mississippi.
Here's Nick Sandy. Another high flip out over the stick of Sabo. He gets the puck in deep though. Goggin, right circle, fires one, looking 5-hole on Bykowski. A big hit by Banzer. Another shot flips over the cage as Bykowski went to the butterfly and threw the blocker at it to no avail. No matter. It was over the net and a big hit there. 6:41 left in the third period. That was Lipinski getting dumped. No call from the official, and the Minot State bench irate there.
Yeah, Lipinski went into the boards kind of awkward. We could see it from right here. It was definitely head first right into the wall, but it wasn't a hit from behind. It was a hit from the side. It was just a really awkward tumble that Lipinski took.
Good to see number 59 in red okay after that one. Paulson with a wrap to the near side hash marks. It stopped there. Navrat trying to get it out, and Sabo gets it down low at the circle. And a shot from Banzer from a tight angle again, but no traffic in front. It's a low percentage shot, and this time no rebound allowed from Bykowski. 13:49 into the third period.
Yeah, we're looking at the replay. I believe this is going to be the replay of the hit. And right there you see it head first right into the wall, but the hit coming from the shoulder. So it's an okay play. It's definitely dangerous, but not a problem in the officials' eyes.
Erickson against Gatos. Number 37 in red, black and white wins it for the Beavers to the far side. Kept in by Olsen, tipped out in front of a big save there by Bykowski. Alcott all alone in the low slot, and now here comes Minot State. It's Swedlow, right wing side, Sheshak on his left, out for Sheshak. Oh, do you believe that right pad save? Matt Gedeke keeps his team's hopes alive.
If Iowa State draws this game even, that's the shot to remember right there. Huge save from Gedeke to keep his team in it.
6'4" and using every inch of that frame was Matt Gedeke, lashing out that right pad post to post, and you'll see that save tonight on ACHA tonight. Following the game as Tony Uglum had the puck stripped off his stick. Wowrick racing in along the far side corner. 5:23 left in the third period. 2-1 Beavers, and they're looking to extend their lead. Carter, checked by Azevedo, and below the goal line, it's Marcicilli, but now Wowrick has a man out in front instead. Dips to the far side point, and throws it back in for Fournier. Marcicilli, a good inside-out crossover, but he's just going to pin the puck over along the end boards. 5 minutes left in the national championship game.
Yeah. Wowrick just coming off on that change, a long shift there. His coach appreciates it, bench appreciates it with 4:52 left.
Clock still ticking. Under 4:50 to go, and finally a whistle as Gedeke will swallow that chance. 4:48 left in the third.
I think going back to that last defensive possession, as you're looking at Paul O'Connor of Minot State, I mean, he cleared that puck. It was left out in the crease. This is not the replay, though. Back on the other end, They take a
oh my goodness.
Cheating over generates that save and keeps Iowa State in this game.
Wow. Save of the tournament, regardless of the score?
It's not close. Yes, that's the save of the tournament. That was unbelievable.
Bolifer chips the puck back in for Minot State. Shots 31 for Iowa State. For the Beavers, 22. All back. Far side for Banser. Boarded by a much bigger Dylan Johnson. I believe a 6 or 7 inch height disparity between those two. Goggin comes away with it. Trevor Sabo, the lone goal scorer for the Cyclones. Through the middle, tipped in by Goggin. Lipinski races for it. He'll slap it over the head of Banser. Awkward carom out in front. And a nice chip there for Banser, as the puck bounced near him. Say that 5 times fast as Sabo hunting for it, along with number 22 in white. But it's Bolifer escaping. 3-on-3 rush for Minot State. Jordan Robertson, bottom of your screen, hits the blue line, left wing side along the hash marks. Stopping and starting, he goes deep. Alcott on the far side half boards, kept in though by Justin Metcalf, and Hallback is going to take the puck away from him. 3:50 to go in the national championship game.
Yeah, if you're Iowa State, it's not panic time yet, but you're getting close. You're getting close to it. And you got to have your defensemen start pinching in. You got to take more chances offensively, and it can lead to some counterattacks the other way.
Are you seeing the fatigue from Iowa State in that Michigan-Dearborn game that lasted 2 overtimes start to affect them late in the third of this one? As here comes a shot. Sorry, Quinn. There's a quick shot coming from Navrat. Blocked away by Gedeke. Another chance wide of the cage as Longy chips in along the near side. And look out. Iowa State with a chance. Grollam, right circle, using his speed. Tied up beautifully, I believe, by the forward in Sheshuk getting back. Usually it's number 51 on defense, but it was 61 as Grollam with another play on Paul O'Connor, who ties him up. Swedlow flips the puck up into the air and across the center ice logo where it's Max Olson. Back to that question about the Cyclones' fatigue level.
Yeah, they're seeming like they're slowing down right now, and you would think, even if you are tired at this stage of a national championship game, if anything's keeping you going, all these players should be running on pure adrenaline. They've all played a lot of hockey, and right now all that this is coming down to is who wants it more.
Olsen along the blue line, right circle, chipped out by Minot State, and look at the speed coming from Wowrick, left circle, great pass for Fournier, and a stop there by Gedeke, and it's swatted over the near side, where it's Uglum, looking for a weak side man in Kramer. Good pass now for Azevedo. 2:20 to go in the third period. Azevedo shoots one. Pad save. It's tossed into the air off the equipment. Bykowski and back to center ice. Paulson through the middle. That missed Uglum and missed the cage. It's going to be a costly icing call. 17:53 into the third period. Boz, what do you got?
You may want to take a timeout right now if you're Iowa State. A lot of long shifts for the Cyclones. This might be a good time for it just because they are pretty weary. All the fatigue right now. There's a lot of heavy breathing right now on the Cyclone bench.
Important face-off for the Cyclones, to say the least.
Yeah, we're getting close to, there's the timeout that Boz was talking about.
Beautiful call from downstairs. May have had an ear in on Jason Foreman's message to his club. Iowa State with a timeout. So, Kwiatkowski, I'll put you behind the bench. You're Jason Fairman. What are you saying to your guys with just over 2 minutes to go and you're down by 1?
You got to win this draw and get it in deep as fast as you can, because we're getting close to the point where you want to get your netminder pulled. You got to get those 6 attackers on. So you're probably looking at 2:07 by 1:45. You want to have them out. And if you can get that puck in deep, I'd say the second that puck gets in deep and Iowa State has possession in the offensive end, Gedeke's hitting the bench.
Iowa State has not won a championship since 1992.
Kent Walchuk, during that timeout, he's down here wiping a lot of the snow off. They opened up the doors. Normally at NHL games, you see the shovels being brought out, shoveling all the snow in front of the bench. And right now, it could be a factor. You see goalies do it too in front of their crease just to keep all that pile up of that snow on that line. But we'll see. Just shoveling it off, it does play a factor in the last 2.
And the timeout works for Jason Fairman. They flip it out to center ice over the glove of Goggin and shot back in by Locke. Sandy gains the red line. Gedeke remains in his crease for now. We're underneath. 2 minutes left in the third period of the ACHA Men's Division I National Championship game. Minot State 2, Iowa State 1, as Gedeke was about to go to the bench, but it's cleared down. This one will be icing as Nick Sandy reaches the hash marks. A couple of inches. That puck slows down. Maybe it's waved off. 1:41 left in the third.
Yeah, maybe wiping all that snow, kind of a backfire, but Minot State going to take a timeout after that icing. Kind of the same way, too. If you feel like you need to take an icing call or a timeout, just go ahead and take it right now. And kind of maybe just to give Minot State a break right here.
Quinn, I asked you if you were Jason Fairman, what would you say? Now you're Wade Regeer's club. He is the two-time ACHA Coach of the Year, looking for the second championship in Minot State history if they hold on for 141.
Well, the main thing you want to key in onto your players, don't let your eyes get too wide, don't get too excited, and when you see that yawning cage, don't chance icing the puck to try and put it in the empty net. Just hold your horses, wait it, get it past the red line, but the second you get past the red line, if you see a gap, flip it for that open net.
If you just joined us, Cristiano Simonetta with you right now, Quinn Kuski alongside Vaza Javari down at ice level. It's the 2019 Men's Division I ACHA National Championships presented by the ACHA Network. And this game, far from over if you're Minot State. Seems like it can evaporate in a couple seconds if you're Iowa State. 6-on-5 for the Cyclones. They win the draw. Uglum, a shot just deflected high over the crossbar at Sandy, right circle. Now for Grolum. Below the goal line, Azevedo. Bolifer on his backside. Uglum, left wing side. Now it's Olsen. Chipping one through traffic and knocked down by Bolifer. It will be a high stick, but was it touched by Iowa State? It was. Olsen, shot from the point. Backdoor shot. Oh, what a right pad save there by Mykowski. Out in front, another stop, and he sprawls onto it. It was loose, and Iowa State is absolutely furious. The whistle was blown. The puck was loose. Boz, you had a great angle on it.
Yeah, Iowa State actually does have a case right there. But the men in orange stripes, they're the reason that play got blown dead. He was on the other side of it. Tough to see the angle. Looked like he had control. If you're looking at that far corner, that's what creates that angle. Iowa State definitely has reason, but in the eyes of the official from the other side, that's exactly why he blew the whistle. Good call there from the official.
6-on-5. It remains. Azevedo on the draw against Davis Sheldon to the right of Bykowski. And a fanned on clear and tipped in, kept alive by Olsen. Whacked back down with a palm. And I believe we get another whistle for a hand pass with 67 seconds left on the clock. Azevedo can't believe it, and I believe this faceoff's going to come outside if that's the case, and Azevedo attempting to persuade the officials, but I'm not sure he's going to get the call.
I think of that last Iowa State possession that she had, they had the right idea. I would even consider having two people in front of their bench, in front of the net, primarily just because of the fact that Bykowski's given up a lot of rebounds.
On that angle, it looked like Sheldon had touched it after Kramer knocked down with his palm. This is a bit risky, Quinn. It's a neutral zone faceoff as it's on the stick of Sandy. Chop back along, Rhett Locke as we reach the 1 minute mark. Left in the third period. Wowrick, a chance at the empty cage. 3 Cyclones surround him. It's Sandy. Now for Olsen with 50 seconds left in the national championship. Sandy tipped in by Azevedo. Bykowski wraps one on the near side. Azevedo again for Kramer. He lets it go for Goggin. 40 ticks left. Kramer behind the goal. Whacked out. Tipped along, but another good active pace from Olsen. Tipped out in front. Olsen's stick is getting held, but there's no call there. Kramer couldn't get it. It's whacked back out by Locke towards the empty cage. No icing. 24 seconds left in the national championship. Iowa State, they need 1 goal to tie. Minot State, the number 6 seed, up by 1 over the number 5 Cyclones. Alcott poked away by Gatos through the middle area. We're down to 13 seconds. Bolifer wraps it down. No icing again as the puck stayed in the Iowa State zone. 7 seconds. The puck is chipped out by Minot State. Bolifer.
That's going in.
Going into the empty net.
It is in.
Bolifer seals it for Minot State with 1.3 seconds left in the third. The Beavers run out onto the ice a bit premature, but the result is going to remain the same. The referee's trying to corral him, and the coaching staff as well, too. We'll see what comes out of this.
Yeah, and you know, Minot State, they probably don't really care what comes out of this. The goal's going to count no matter what. You can send the whole team into the box. There's only 1.3 seconds left. Minot State, they are now 2 for 2 for national championships.
Just remarkable. You look at the play from Bolifer. Clap down. You want to talk about a fortuitous bounce? My goodness, what a national championship game, and we still have 1.3 seconds before we cap it off.
Yeah, the refs right now, they're talking about it at the circle. I think part of this, too, they may go into review at primary just to see what they should do. There's still 1.3, or if it's late, that goal may not count if time expires.
It'd be interesting, but it'd be near impossible for Iowa State, whatever they rule, to tie up this game, even if they disallowed this goal. Not sure where the offensive zone faceoff or the faceoff would be in general. 1.3 seconds, not a lot of time, but what a sense of emotion from Minot State. The puck goes into the net, and I think they just piled onto the ice, and we'll see what the officials come out and say.
Yeah, so much excitement from Minot State there, and it just overflowing.
And there hasn't been a goal put up on the board just yet. It's still 2-1, but I assume that goal has counted. 1.3 seconds left. Gatos against Azevedo at center ice. The puck is dropped, and the celebration begins. Minot State's redemption tour comes complete, and for the second time in 6 years, the Beavers are Murdoch Cup champions.
The Beavers are now, like I said earlier, they're 2 for 2 in the championship, and for poor Iowa State, this is just something you're all too familiar with. That 27 years since they last won a title, it extends now to at least 28, and you can see it in their faces here as they gather around their netminder Gadecki. Let them know that he had a great tournament. So you know the scoreboard has been changed here. It is now 1-3 Beavers. The empty net did count.
Eric Bolifer sealed it with the empty net. But a beautiful goal. It was credited to Shane Sheshuk in that second period. We thought Joel Swedlow, if that's his goal, and it remains that, his only goal of the tournament. We talk about it all the time, Quinn, with number 74 in red. It's the biggest goal of his career, and it proves out to be the decider.
You know, we said that sometimes the biggest goal can come from an unlikely source. In this game, it came from the most likely of sources in Swedlow. But if you want to look at his numbers in the tournament, it kind of was an unlikely source just because he had struggled so much throughout this tournament to get a puck in the back of the net.
And the second celebration you see on your screen right now for the Beavers, elation, joy, excitement. And at the other end for Iowa State, it's a completely different sense. You could just tell being up here, Quinn. Iowa State thought they were going to tie this game back up. Bykowski came up huge as we see the handshake lines between both teams.
Yeah, that was nothing but chances for Iowa State. 34 shots on goal, and the majority of those shots on goal all coming in the third period. It was a third period of dominance from the Cyclones, and they just couldn't quite break through.
Fazet Jafari downstairs. We'll hear from him on the post-game show, as well as Casey Roll and Thomas Biana, but we're not there just yet. The trophy presentation to come in just a couple of minutes. Minot State, their second title in 6 years. For Iowa State, their sixth time getting to the dance. Their record, 1-5, their last title coming 27 years ago.
Yeah, and, you know, we talked about it at the top of the broadcast, the struggles that Iowa State had had in these tournaments, and the issue hasn't been getting here, but it's been winning once they get here, and those issues still remain to be very prevalent. But just from a number standpoint, as you continue to put together a great program at Iowa State, it's really just a matter of time. You've got some great pieces in place, and hopefully in the near future we might see them return.
For guys like Tony Uglum, Trevor Sabo, this is the end of the line in their tenure at Iowa State, unless they want to take that fifth-year option as a grad student, which we've seen, the new rule implemented in the ACHA. But if this is it for those two, what a heck of careers they've had wearing that Cyclone uniform. And at the other end, it is pure joy for the Minot State Beavers as a guy like Kyle Lipinski, he still has 1 year left. Eric Bolifer, though, the man who scored the empty net, it's his fifth-year eligibility. What a time and what a performance to cap off his tenure with the Beavers.
Yeah, and he's been such a great defenseman. He hasn't been the greatest goal scorer. He's not who you count on for that, but he has been an absolute lockdown defenseman on his side of the ice alongside of Lipinski. And for him, it just seems so appropriate to be the guy you're sealing up your collegiate career as a hockey player, and then you also seal up your team's title.
When you see Bray efforts go down in that game against Adrian, the starting goaltender who had won 17 games for your club all season long, and a cold, goaltender. Josh Bykowski comes in, allows 1 goal on 14 shots. You look at his total numbers as he's won his now 8 decisions. His last 8 decisions carrying back in the regular season. If you had to pick an MVP before Andy Storrs announces it, who's your prediction?
You got to go Bykowski. He's had an incredible tournament, and he closes it all off with 34 shots on frame, and only 1 gets by. That just shows the effort that Bykowski put in, and many of those saves, fabulous saves, sprawling saves, stuff they don't teach in goalie school, and Bykowski able to get the job done.
Couple of snow angels, no problem for Josh Bykowski. The official shots on goal, 34 for Iowa State, 24 for Minot State. They threw the kitchen sink and then some. And look at the celebration so far as they get their individual awards here. Blake Fournier, a huge last 2 games of the tournament, adding a pair of goals. And for Minot State, this was a job well done. And for Iowa State, it's the same thing. You just don't go home with the hardware.
Yeah, if you're Iowa State, you got to be proud of even getting this far. You were the 5th seed. No one even expected you to get past Dearborn. No one expected you to make it this far. People were doubting them all the way back to the Stony Brook game. As the higher seed, there was doubt in the air, and they showed that they were here to compete. And they've proven to, I think, everybody, out there watching ACHA hockey that they're going to be a great team for a few years to come here.
Wade Regier at 35 years old, was an assistant coach for Minot State in 2008, played for the university from 2004 to 2008, promoted to head coach in 2010. It's his 2nd championship under his regime as a head coach. How much do you think his impact comes through on this Minot State team that has become a perennial powerhouse? Now we can say it, 2 championships in 6 years, and they were the #1 seed last year.
Yeah, they are a perennial powerhouse, and this powerhouse didn't start until he came in. So if you want to say how responsible is he, 100%. Without him, I don't think we're looking at this team hoisting a trophy this year.
Wade Regier's name announced over the loudspeaker, and you hear the ovation. And now we'll talk about the forwards for Minot State. Justin Metcalf, probably the goal of the tournament, that goal against Illinois that opened the scoring. Adam Wowrick, though, and that 4th line, proving that if you have depth in these sort of games, which Iowa State didn't seem to match, it can make all the difference.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest issue for Iowa State, is that depth wasn't prevalent, and you could see the first line of Uglum, Azevedo, and and the second line was Sabo. Those 2 lines were just tired. They were struggling to get anything going, and they just finally gassed out about halfway through the 3rd period.
As Andy Storrs gets ready to announce the most valuable player.
University forward, number 12, Blake Fournier.
And Blake Fournier, how deserving is it for number 12 in red? 2 goals in the national tournament, only 4 goals all season in 38 games played. Brother Craig's probably smiling pretty wide right now.
Yeah, 2 goals in the national tournament. And can we just comment on how awesome that MVP trophy is? You're playing
absolutely.
in Dallas. You get a silver cowboy boot with the Stars logo. Beautiful trophy. But if you're Blake Fournier, you score 4 goals all season, and now you have 2 in this tournament, and 2 of the biggest goals in this tournament as well.
And Fournier and the alternate captains, Joel Swedlow, Adam Wowrick, Paul O'Connor, or rather Dylan Gatos, excuse me, number 37, right next to Paul O'Connor. And a beautiful portrait there embedded in the minds, not just now for Minot State fans, but the future. And Blake Fournier lifts the Murdoch Cup. The Minot State Beavers are the national champions of 2019.
And may the celebration finally begin. This is a team that has had so much doubt around it for so long, and you can doubt no more. They've proven that they deserve to be called that powerhouse team. You said it, 2 cups now in 6 years.
And Eric Bolifer received it, and he tosses it to Dylan Gatos. The guys who wear the letters, the most important on this roster, being able to host Murdoch Cup glory so far. And Dylan Johnson, what a season he had, especially when it mattered most. He threw his body around all game long.
And when that's the highest you'll see that Murdoch Cup lifted tonight, 6'4". Dylan Johnson tends to be the tallest person on the ice.
Shane Sheshuk as well. And we're going to send it down to ice level. Baz Echevarri is at the blue line.
Wade, #1, congratulations on winning the ACHA tournament. Third time in 6 years, man. How's that feel?
It's unbelievable. You know what? And this was our kind of our young rebuild year. You know what? We had a lot of young players after last year's humongous graduating class. But our guys just had a common belief. You know what? We caught fire kind of late in the year, and we just got to get going. And the thing about a national tournament is that it's all about momentum. You know what? You get through the first game, and then you defeat the defending national champs. And then after that, you feel like there's a belief to get it done. And you know what? There's just no quit within this team, and it didn't matter who was taking the next role. It's just amazing to watch.
A lot of things, too. I know there's a knock on playing an independent schedule compared to these teams out east. I mean, you play a hard schedule every year. You've come in as a #1 seed multiple years. What does it say about your franchise, or I guess your program? You could probably say your franchise. You guys have been a powerhouse for the last couple of years.
You know what? It's just a testament to everybody in our organization. I mean, as much as I'm the head coach, we have so many big things behind the scenes, from our campus advisor, Tanya Bernsdorf, and our fundraising that goes on to Mitch, our marketing director, and my board of directors, and pretty much our assistant coach and our staff. This is a total culture of our program that we want to expect to win a national title every year, and we get it.
You've been a part of the program for a while. The Beaver Dam been a big part of that program. Anything you want to say to the students of Minot State and Minot, North Dakota?
It's unbelievable. That support. I know the Beaver Dam. I know the Spicy Pie. I know a lot of establishments all around town. It's just so much support, especially when we're at home, and now even on social media and everything. It's just been tremendous. And you know what? We don't win this championship without the support we have back in Minot, and we're just so glad we're bringing a championship back home.
All right, congratulations. Go celebrate with your team, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Baz. Thank you, Wade Regier. As celebration continues, we saw Josh Bykowski visibly emotional, Holden Kurtz as well, another goaltender, Adam Wowrick. And what a series it was for Adam Wowrick in those 4 games. He comes up with that big primary assist on Fournier's goal. Yeah. And again, he's one of those bottom line guys. As look at the exchange. Isn't it one of the most great things in sports and hockey as well? You want to talk about the NHL level, the Stanley Cup, the Murdoch Cup being passed along. You see the wide smiles, the wide eyes, maybe some tears flowing as well.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what level you're at, ACHA, NHL, AHL, ECHL, hoisting that cup, there's just so much passion, and that doesn't change.
We'll go down to Baz one more time. He's with the captain of the Beavers, Fournier.
All right, man, you told me it still hasn't sunk in yet, man. Thoughts through the game? I know someone might need a pitcher right now.
Oh, my God. Like I said, unbelievable. We did it. Has not sunk in yet. What an incredible feeling. Thank you to all our fans back home, the ones that traveled here, all the alumni, all the former players, everyone that supported us even when we were in ups and downs. Thank you guys so much.
Being the captain of this team, leading this team, I mean, I know you came in as number 5 seed. Last year you guys came in as #1, didn't have the success as you want. Like, I mean, your coach said this. He considered this kind of a rebuilding year. You guys walk out champions of the college hockey world.
That's right. What an incredible ride. I mean, we had that one stretch there. We were 18th, and we were out of the national tournament. And, you know, from that point out, we decided, you know, we came in #1 the last 3 years, and who cares if we go in? We got to beat them all anyways. And we didn't care if we were ranked 1. We didn't care if we were ranked 20. We were getting the job done.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations. Go celebrate with your team. Enjoy it. Hopefully it sinks in sometime tonight.
Thank you so much. Support is incredible. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. Take care.
Baz Echevarri, Blake Fournier, the junior forward out of Maple Creek, Saskatchewan. Probably has his own family watching. And like I mentioned already, Blake Fournier and Craig Fournier, you got the Lipinski 3 brothers. It's a bond between these Minot State players, even if they don't share the same last name.
Yeah, you always say that your teammates are family. In the case of the Minot State Beavers, some of them literally are family, and that family is no more on the team, but they're still there in spirit. They've graduated, they've moved on, but those guys have been so fantastic for this organization as the cup gets lifted and the players gather around and cheer. This team has just been amazing through this tournament, and like our tournament MVP spoke about, 16-1 in their last 17.
Incredible.
Just an awesome run to make it here. And Fournier talking about they came in here with the intention of winning it all, and they've done just that.
Boz's third interview of the night. It's downstairs with the winning goaltender, Josh Bykowski.
Yeah, they're actually going to take a picture with the team first. Make sure they get that done. We'll come right back down here with Josh Bykowski.
And look at that team photo. Just a beautiful sight for all of Minot, North Dakota, and the hometowns of all these players, coaches, and staff. A moment they'll never forget for the 2019 ACHA National Champions of Men's Division I.
Yeah, a photo of just pure elation. You don't care if there's dirt on your face, nothing like that. You're just happy to have this picture taken after all these years. None of these guys, of course, having won a national championship with it coming 6 years ago. And for some of these guys, this is the only shot they're going to get.
No pictures.
We'll go downstairs once again. Boz with Josh.
You're the winning goaltender in a national championship game. Number one, how does that sound to you?
It sounds really, really good right now. I can't say enough about these guys. I can't even put my thoughts in words right now. I'm extremely happy. Extremely happy.
I know there's kind of been a knock on the program. You guys have been number one seeds for a while. Haven't been able to close it out. Your coach mentioned that he kind of felt this was a little bit of a rebuilding year, but you guys dropped down to 18th, got into the tournament as number 6. You guys walk out as number 1.
Well, I tell you what, this was a little bit of a redemption tour for us. You know, knocking off Illinois, the team that beat us out last year, then getting to Adrian, the defending champs, taking out Lindenwood number 1, and then defeating Iowa State. Man, it feels good. I'd like to just give a shout out to all the people in Minot if they're watching. Hey, thanks for supporting us, and I can't wait to bring this thing back to you.
All right, man, go enjoy the trip. Go enjoy it with your team.
Boz Echevarri, 3 great interviews following the contest. Minot State 3, Iowa State 1. For Quinn Kuski, I'm Cristiano Simonetta. Thank you for watching the 2019 Men's Division I ACHA National Championship. Now it's time for the post-game show. Casey Roll and Thomas Biondo, take it away.
Lead in 2019. For the first time since 2013, the Minot State Beavers are the ACHA Division I National Champions, a 3-1 win over the Iowa State Cyclones. Casey Roll with you alongside Thomas Biondo for our ACHA Division I Men's National Championship postgame show. Thomas, you had the feeling after a win against Adrian College in the quarterfinals that this Minot State team was for real. We got the answer today. The Beavers are the national champions for the second time in program history.
It's fantastic for them. I mean, they've had such a struggle the last few years. And I tell you that there might be something to not coming in with that number 1 seed. Although Adrian was the number 1 seed last year, I believe, and they left happy with the national championship. But this year, 3 straight years coming in as number 1. They don't make it to the final game. They don't make it to the championship game. This year, kind of a typical year. Numbers were good. They just the computers have them coming as 6, and they leave as number 1.
For the first time since the ACHA Division I tournament expanded to 20 games, we have a first-time champion who has played in all 5 days of the Division I tournament. That is these Minot State Beavers. On paper, TB, it looked like Iowa State dominated offensively. Final shots on goal, 34-23 in favor of the Cyclones.
Yeah, the paper part of that is the third period. And in the final shots, I believe in the third period, the Cyclones had 18 because they were down and they pressed. And the Cyclones, I don't know, they had a couple of good scoring chances early in the period that we were worth noting that were back-to-back coming off the power play that they weren't able to cash in on. The rest of them, though, I don't even know how many of those were grade A chances. And again, just that defense, that just suffocating defense. And I know it sounds weird with 18 shots to say suffocating defense, but honestly, if you look at the shot quality, that's part of the issue.
It was defense that turned into offense, and the player of the tournament in the national tournament for Minot State was the captain, Blake Fournier. Not much offense for the Beavers team in this tournament, Thomas, but when Fournier had his number called, he answered.
Yeah, he scored the first goal in the game today. That was I believe the equalizer, actually, as Iowa State had scored first. The game last night against Lindenwood, a 1-0 game. He gets the only goal. I mean, it gets no bigger than that. A game winner followed by an equalizer after falling behind by 1. especially considering what these guys have gone through. You know, that seed of doubt gets planted really, really easily. And the fact that they didn't have to go into the locker room and like look at each other in the mirror down a goal, that they could go in tied, it really is a huge goal for him.
And Thomas, something I want to talk about, our own ACHA on the ice mentioned it a couple of moments ago. For this Minot State team out of Minot, North Dakota, it's a small town in general, but this team is a family, and that's not figuratively, that's literally. 3 Lipinski brothers on this team last season when they were the #1 seed in the tournament. Fournier also had his brother on this team. So it's finally, we're winning this not only for ourselves, but for our family members who played who couldn't win this last game.
No, you're exactly right. And because I remember, I believe, calling one of their games 2 years ago in my first year here at Nationals. And I'm like, well, I'm calling 5 names when there's 18 players. Well, because 3 names were there were 3 different of one and 2 different of another and another set of 2. So you're right. And that makes it all the more special. It makes it all the more special. Also, the fact that we were good to see that Efforts was able to come out. He was not dressed. He was in street clothes, but considering the work that he did in this tournament, for him to be able to come out and get these medals with his teammates, just a great story and a great kind of, as you said, a family moment.
Braden Efforts was in the midst of a career year this season for Minot State, a save percentage of just over 94 and a goals against average of 1.16. He was out after the second period against Adrian College after an undisclosed injury, but his backup, Joshua Bykowski, answered every bell that was asked, entered play today with a 97 save percentage and a goals against of just under 0.7. He made 33 saves today in the biggest game of his college career.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember when he came in. What was the score of that Adrian game when he came in? So let's just look at the last 2. 1 goal against and over 60 shots. I mean, that's just remarkable. That's what you need from your netminder. And again, a little bit of credit. Always got to give a little bit of credit to the men in front of them, especially with this Minot State team because of how good they were. But at the end of the day, the guy's got to keep the puck out of the net. And he did both goaltenders, Efforts and Bykowski, but down the stretch when they really needed it in those last 2 games. Bykowski was fantastic.
And penalty killing, another solid for Minot State. They end this national tournament without allowing a power play goal. Teams in this tournament against the Beavers 0 for a combined 17.
And I'm not wonderful at math, but I'm okay at math. I think that's 100%. I think that means that their penalty kill was 100%. And last time I checked, that's pretty good.
Thomas, you're an accountant. I thought you were supposed to be good at math.
Well, calculators, man. I used to notice no calculators here, and I was still able to figure that out.
I'm a journalism major, so I have the right to not be good at math.
Right,
you're an accountant.
And that's why we work together here. That's why we're right here right now.
So final score 3-1 Minot State over Iowa State, the second national championship for the Beavers in program history. Before we say goodbye, we want to thank all of you at home across the country and in some cases across the world for tuning in right here in downtown Frisco for the coverage of our 2019 ACHA Division I men's tournament. We do it all for you, and our days are filled because of your viewership. So for all the people who are a part of not only tonight's broadcast, but off the camera scenes, Executive Broadcast Director AJ Bolden, Broadcast Producer Matt Koma, for all our broadcast crew, our play-by-play guy for today, Cristiano Simonetta, along with Quinn Kuski, Boz Echevarri, for Thomas Biondo, I'm Casey Roll, saying so long for the final time in the men's ACHA Division I tournament from Frisco. It's a party in Minot, North Dakota, and one that might stretch all night. You've been watching the 2019 ACHA Men's Division I National Championship postgame show on the ACHA Network. Oh,